Hey, hey. Good to see everybody. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. So, looks like we're live. What we're doing today is we're continuing the design of the witch class. Now, what is the witch class? During the Backer Kit campaign, so this is the Nimble Backer campaign, we did a cross collab project with Fairy A Realm Wanderer's Guide. So anybody who backed Nimble and Fairy as an incentive, they get this witch class. And the witch class was designed by Connor, uh, Connor and I think Aston of the Dragon's Vault. So they were generous enough to share the PDFs with me so that I can start designing the witch class. So initial design started like back in November, but it was mostly just a couple of bullet points. We did a private late night stream last night, feeling out some direction. And now I was so excited I could hardly sleep last night. I was so excited to start on the witch class. So that's what this is. Will this be available to other people some other way? I'm not sure. We're still sort of working on it. The way it is currently, I've sort of only been using like some of the names and things from the fairy design, like just some of the ideas rather than like using anything verbatim. So it may be something that is available later, but that's sort of to be determined. But for right now, I'm not adding any new stuff to the project. This is something that was initially promised from the very beginning. So we're not adding anything new. This isn't scope creep or anything. It was if I can grab my list. It is the next thing on my list. So we continue to plug away and make progress. I'm just going to update the artist name. This is a cool piece of art by Annie Gerard. And I love that this particular witch, it's a little bit different that she doesn't have like the pointy hat, which is pretty typical, but her familiar is a vulture, which I kind of love. Is it going to be called Witch? I think it's going to be called Witch. I think it's going to be called Witch. I'm not married to that idea yet, but currently that's what we have. So let's go to the face cam real quick for just a second. So I did ask Connor, and let me just check if he. I asked him if it's okay if I stream the development of the Nimble version of the Witch. He said he's going to get back to me. So I'm only going to, I'm not going to show any of their PDFs. I want to respect their thing. So if you backed it, then you have access to that kind of stuff. But I don't want to accidentally share any of their PDFs publicly. So I've got those PDFs sort of like off to the other screen. Just want to make sure I have everything in the right spot. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of where we left it yesterday. So this is where we are. So the witch class probably is like a will, very likely a will-based class, maybe intelligence. Something I'm thinking. So all of this is very like broad strokes. Some things we've really honed in on, but I'm just sort of giving you broad strokes. I'm considering giving them the choice between Dex or Int as their second key stat, and then I think Strength is going to be their disfavored stat. Strength or Dex. So the Witch has a lot of concentration spells like hexes and things. So rather than Dex being, I think, let's open up the Heroes document. So I think all of the spellcasters currently have Strength as their disfavored stat. Well, the Shepherd has Dex as its disfavored stat. The Songweaver, the Mage, and the Storm Shifter all have strength as their disfavored stat. So maybe having this as like a as Dex being the disfavored stat to sort of balance the Shepherd. The Shepherd has Dex as their disfavored save because like they're wearing like lots of armor and stuff typically, like shields and armor and stuff. But the Witch maybe like they're just sort of chill. Hey, Ghostbit. Dexterous Witch maybe. I like that in Dutch and Danish, the German word, and German, the word for witch is hex or hex. Oh, that's cool. I speak a little bit of Dutch, but I didn't know that. Dutch is, so if any of you speak Dutch, Dutch is like completely bonkers. So like if you want to say like 21 instead of saying like, 20 and 1, you would say 1 and 20, which is like super, super weird. 21. So yeah, Dutch, I love Dutch. I lived in Holland for a short period of time. Okay, so let's go over where we are. Okay, so it's probably going to be like will or int. I'm not sure. So we're still cooking on that. But what is the theme of the class? The theme of the class is efficiency, 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 efficiency. So the idea is. So they are a debuffer. They don't deal high damage, but a lot of their usefulness comes from debuffs. So the thing you have to be very careful about with debuffing classes is that if they're putting like 3 debuffs on this guy and 2 debuffs on this guy and 1 debuff on all these 4 guys, like all of a sudden combat becomes a nightmare. Like combat can become very, very difficult to manage, right? So we want to avoid that. We want to avoid very, very badly this untenable situation where the GM and the player, the person who's playing this hero, that they have to track a bunch of different things. Tracking one thing is about as much, like one thing on the battlefield, in addition to a hero, is about as much as I want to give to people. So, can we have that cool debuffing class, mid damage, low damage type of thing? I think so, because they are efficient. So, how are they efficient? Something interesting that I'm thinking is maybe either they don't know cantrips or like they can't cast cantrips, or maybe their cantrips cost mana, something like that. But in some way, they're less reliant on cantrips, but they can cast more leveled spells than other classes. Okay, so if we go over to our other classes, our other heroes. So the Shadowmancer, for instance, he has like very few like 2 mana. Like yeah, he can cast 2 spells, but they're always at the highest tier possible. But he has these really powerful cantrips. The Witch is sort of the opposite of that. The Witch is the opposite of that. Is also, if we sort of hold that in our mind, the Mage has a really deep mana pool, and every encounter they regain mana for free. They have powerful cantrips, and they have powerful spells that he casts a lot of, and they can increase the power of their spells by spinning more mana. Okay, so hold those 2 classes in your mind. So the Witch is sort of a combination and inversion of those 2 classes. So what the Witch can do is she has a relatively modest mana pool, but she can lower the mana cost of her spells. So she doesn't need, she can cast tiered spells for 0 mana. So she doesn't really need, and I'm saying she because like the art is here. So she doesn't really need a bunch of cantrips, or maybe any cantrips. That's something I'm still cooking on, because she could just always cast tiered spells. So what does that look like? One of the coolest things that Connor and Aston have come up with in Fairy Realm Wonders Guide. And the link to this is in the description. I believe you can indeed pre-order it still. So I would definitely encourage you to pre-order it. I backed it at the Baron Core Box tier with my own dollary dues. So there is a link to the campaign. You can click a little button and back it. So I do want to encourage you guys to back it. This was a cross collab, so if you guys are digging what I'm doing, I hope you will take the time to back Fairy as well. You certainly don't have to. You could just sort of hang out and watch the design stream if you like. Okay, so one of the coolest ideas that they had was this idea of diminution, or like rather than upcasting, this is downcasting. So they can sort of cut corners or be more efficient in different ways by doing cool stuff, by making the spells like a little bit smaller. So their design is like, very much coded for 5e, so rather complex, rather complicated, a lot of words and stuff. So I want the nimble version to be very easy to, like, very tactically deep, but very easy to manage, with interesting choices, but not an overwhelming number of choices. Okay, so whenever you cast a spell, you can choose one or more conditions instead of spending mana to reduce its mana cost. So go with me on the wording. The wording is all going to be updated. The wording is mostly just for me as I'm cooking. Okay. So you can cast the spell humbly. The range or reach of the spell is halved. So if you have a tier 3 spell that has a range of 8, you can cut the range to 4, and it only costs 2 mana. And you can cast it weak. You can cast a weak version of the spell. You can decrement the die one step, or maybe instead roll with disadvantage. So you'll roll with this. So this tier 3 spell, you can roll with disadvantage as well, and it only costs 1 mana. You can cast it slow, and it costs additional action, but all of a sudden this tier 3 spell costs no mana. So that kind of thing is like really, really interesting. We need to be very careful about all these things. But for every time she casts a spell, she can choose how much mana she's going to spend on it. So she can still upcast spells, but it's not really something she's going to be doing a lot. Most of her spells are going to be diminished. So they're going to be cast a sort of a smaller version of them. That said, she does need like a cantrip, I think. She does need a cantrip, or some sort of bread and butter spell. Maybe it won't be a cantrip. Lewis, yeah, hey, appreciate it, Lewis. Nath, love what you're hearing. All right. Excuse me. So maybe it's not a cantrip. Maybe we do stick with the idea of all cantrips cost her 1 mana, so she has to decide. So if she wants to cast it as a cantrip, I need to cut the range in half. I need to roll with disadvantage. I need to do this. So I need to do different things. So I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like. So a lot of this is, still like broad strokes. But Hex, her level 1 spell. So every class by default has like a very easy to understand flavor of the class. So the mage knows fire, ice, and lightning cantrips. There's no resources to manage. There's no fancy fiddly stuff. You don't have to pick a bunch of things. You don't have to choose. It's just these cantrips, and that's it, right? The commander, he smacks people with his sword, but he has this cool ability, coordinated strike. He can use that, once or twice. So the hunter, he doesn't do a lot of stuff. He has hunter's mark. He can mark a dude and deal more damage to that dude. So at level 1, every class has to be easy to run, and I think not having any choices to make. Because the choice you make at level 1 is which class to play, what items to pick, what ancestry, So at level 1, you already have a lot of choices. So you don't really need additional choices. Okay, I picked the mage. Now I need to pick my 3 cantrips, and I need to pick my, this, and then I need to pick that. None of that. So level 1 is you get what you get, right? Okay. So I think the witch class at level 1, all she gets is Hex. Maybe it'll be Hex, maybe it'll be something else. But it's a cantrip or some bread and butter spell. Sort of medium range 8 is what I'm thinking. So, and then damage is going to be like D6. So like not the least amount of damage, not the most damage, like a middle low damage. And she rolls with advantage against creatures with a condition. So I think this is a really cool way to take advantage of what the witch is trying to do. She's trying to apply conditions, but she has more success against creatures that already have a condition, right? And on crit, the creature is frightened. So it's just you're doing damage, and then on crit, you can apply frightened. So if you roll this against a creature that is already frightened, you're rolling with advantage, right? So that's cool. So you're more likely to crit. Will this be tweaked? Most likely. But is it a very cool starting point? Yeah, I definitely think so. Okay, so level 2 So she would unlock mana and unlock tier 1 spells. Probably. So we were thinking about different things last night. Maybe she unlocks tier 1 and tier 2 spells at level 2. That would be cool because she only knows necrotic spells at level 2. So maybe she unlocks tier 1 and tier 2 spells because she has because she has access to like this ability to do different cool things. So maybe that's what we're doing. Again, and not sure yet. But only from the necrotic school. I think what we're going to do is when you choose your subclass, you can gain access to a second school, a second school of magic. But also the witch gains access to like these new spells that we're giving her. So she doesn't really need access to 2 or 3 spell schools too early. I think it might feel like a little bit too much going on. Okay. So the first in her mana pool. So it's will times 3, like your key stat times 3 plus your level. This one is going to be likely much smaller, so just will plus level. Will plus level. If you do go the route of spell tiers quicker, having utility spells be available earlier would be fun. Yeah. I think so. In general, I might. I think we're going to add a. I think we're going to add like an optional rule, like hey, any spellcasting class can get a utility spell at level 1 or level 2 or level 3, like something like that, because it a lot of people just sort of like really love that about D&D. A lot of GMs hate that about D&D. That like, oh, everybody just gets mage hand and like just breaks every encounter with anything. Um, so I think it's going to be an optional rule that hey, you can just go ahead and add. Actually, let me write that down. It's something I was thinking, and I do need to write it down. Optional rule, utility cantrips. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and add that. Okay, so misery is her second new spell. 1 action, concentration, reach 8, damage 2d12. So like some large amount of damage. Okay, so hex is sort of like her small damage, like condition thing. Misery is likely going to be like medium high damage spell. It's going to be apply a condition. Apply. So it's going to be apply your choice of. And it's going to be one of these: blind, dazed, and frightened. And they're going to make, and it's probably going to be like a will save. It'll probably be a will save. Apply your choice. So what the spell does, it deals damage automatically and it applies a condition automatically. But if your target makes the save, you gain that condition too for as long as you hold concentration. Okay, so what does this mean? So we've got our. Let's grab a little. All right, so we've got our frog witch right here, and then we've got our bad guy. All right, so we've got a frog witch. He's going to cast misery on this strong boy, and I'm going to give him frightened, right? Because I want to cast hex later. I want to give him frightened. So I'm going to cast it. He takes the damage automatically, and he's frightened of you. You can just choose any creature to be frightened of you. I think that's pretty cool. Now he's going to make a will save. If his will is strong enough, he can sort of reflect a portion of this hex, this misery, back at you. Okay, so if he saves, he is frightened of you, but you are also frightened of him, which I think is pretty cool for as long as you hold concentration. So they don't get to continue. They don't get to continue to make a save over and over and over again. So it's not something you need to remember. The GM doesn't have to say, okay, at the end of his turn, he's going to make the save again. So that's super annoying to me as a GM, having to like roll saves and re-roll saves and continue to do that. So it's up to the witch how long this lasts. So as long as you hold concentration, I think that is a pretty cool way to do it. So if the witch doesn't want to have disadvantage on all of their rolls, doesn't want to have the frightened condition, they can just at the at the end of their turn, they can yeah, at the end of the turn they can just like end. They could just break concentration. I'm going to end the frightened condition, so they're neither is frightened of each other. Or they can wait until this guy goes, so he can't move close to me. So he has to spend twice as much movement to move close to the witch because he's frightened. And if he is able to get close to me, he's gonna be making all of his attacks with disadvantage. And that at the start of the witch's turn, I'm going to end concentration. I'm no longer afraid of him. I can do my cool stuff. So I, as the witch, I choose when to, when to start this, when to end this, and like I can apply these conditions basically at will, which is really really cool. I think so. I think that that's a fun way to do it, and because it's concentration as well, um, I can only apply that to one creature at a time, so I don't have to worry about like a bunch of different conditions across a bunch of different creatures. It sort of is this self-correcting, self-balancing type of thing. Something that I often wish they do for magic users indeed is to give the generally out of combat cantrips that no one uses as just automatic spells because they're not OP and helps teams. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. So my view on that is they're automatic spells. If they're automatic spells, just remove them. Like dark vision, everybody has dark vision, just remove it, right? So if everybody's special, nobody's special. If everybody has dark vision isn't even a thing anymore. So, and it's just like an extra complicated thing. So those kinds of automatic things, everybody has dark vision, everybody has mage hand. It's a thing that feels fun. Like, oh look, I have this thing. It makes me be able to do more things. But in reality, it shrinks the design space. So it gives it gives the DM or the GM, like if everybody has dark vision, well, I can't do anything fun with the dark. Like maybe like things that are different colors in the dark. Yeah, maybe. Because like dark vision, you can only see in grayscale, like whatever. Like that's not that fun. If everybody has mage hand, I can't do anything cool with. There's a thing over there that you can't reach. So it it's one of those things that everybody thinks it's fun, but if everybody just sort of has it automatically, then it's actually far less fun, and it shrinks the design space and it limits the interesting choices that people can make. Consider giving the witch abilities or boons when they sacrifice/end conditions to gain benefits. Yeah. Got it back direct. Thanks for popping in, Ross. Yep. Okay, so misery, some automatic condition thing. We did consider adding smoldering, but the witch doesn't really care if she's smoldering. Sort of creates a new currency, perhaps. So the witch already has a lot going on. We haven't even like started to really scratch the surface of the things going on. So we do need to limit like how many different bits and bobs the witch gets. So if we give her that, then we'd have to remove something else. So I'm trying to use the fairy Realm Wonders Guide thing as inspiration and not just make my own new witch class, because that was the promise. So I want to sort of stick to the promise within reason. It does need to be a fun, nimble class. Party 1, fun, nimble class. Party 2, it is based off of this thing. Like Shadow Dark, where all races don't have dark vision. Yep, exactly. So yeah, and that's how it is in Nimble. Nobody has dark vision. Like the only way to get dark vision, as far as I know, is like a level 20, like some epic boon, some level 20 epic boon. And even that, I'm not sure about. But I think by level 20, yeah, you can. Yeah, that's probably fine. Okay, level 3, you choose your witch subclass. Covenant of the Hunt. If you pre-order fairy, can you still get? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I forgot what we promised. So tons to learn. Great question. If so, will this class be a physical product or just digital? So I forgot if we were just thinking about it or if we promised it. So I'll tell you what I'm doing. So I do want to be careful about promising things. So I am planning on getting them printed like zine style. So like it's going to be like a short, like 8-page zine. So like just a really short zine. I'm planning on it right now. So I have to double check and see what I promised, because it's been a few months and I've forgotten. So I'm having them printed, And I think what we said was anybody who got any physical nimble products, if you also back at any tier of the fairy thing, then you'll get the a printed thing. I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. Yes. Um, so might it be available at some future point as its own thing? I'm not sure yet. I have to talk with Connor. I have to talk with the boys at Fairy. So I have to talk with them, see what we do. If I do make it its own class, its own nimble thing, I might have to change some things and not use any of their content. So some of this is up in the air. I need to make sure that I'm respecting their work. I'm respecting the agreement that we had, and I'm respecting the people who pre-ordered both Fairy and Nimble. So that is sort of the priority one. In the future, we'll see. But yes, if you do pre-order, yeah, we'll go ahead and count that. We'll go ahead and count that. So yeah, I do want to encourage you guys to back their thing because it is a really cool project. Just to show you like one cool thing. So like there's their thing. This fealty system looks really cool. So that is one of the things that I am most excited about. This fealty system, and also like the dice is coming with the box that I ordered, and they are cool like prismatic dice, which is my favorite kind of dice. My favorite kind of dice, like the D4 that Josh Chatron and I created. Like our D4 is this cool prismatic D4. So the 4 is like gold, and then the 1's face is blank because that's sort of like makes it more nimble. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, great question. Okay, so level 3, you get the Covenant of the Hunt or Covenant of the Hex. Witches get a familiar. I'm not sure at what level yet, but metal dice. Yeah, metal dice are cool, but you know they're heavy, can dent the table. Metal dice are cool. So witches do get a familiar, and more of that in a second. So I think the Covenant of the Hunt is going to boost the familiar in some way and utilize them. And the wind, they'll probably gain access to the wind school. Covenant of the Hex is going to get better hexes, and maybe access to the fire school. So something like that is probably what's going to be. Malif Mist, stop by and say, hey, good to see you. Level 4, so they have a system. So the main thing that witches have as spellcasters in the fairy system, and it's a 5e supplement is what fairy is. So like in all the content and adventures and stuff, you could just use in Nimble like easily. So yeah, that's a good reason to back it right there. But the main thing is like they can like rather than spell slots, they can sort of like cast their spells flexibly, which is like something that all spellcasters in Nimble already have. So rather than that, we sort of change the Mystic Mark to be like sort of their what is it their cool thing. Like the hunter gets like a bunch of different thrill of the hunt abilities. The cheat gets a bunch of different underhanded abilities. So the Mystic Marks is the witches like cool list of abilities that they can choose from. Like they can learn to heal. They can learn like they can add different like things to their spells, you know, that kind of stuff. So Mystic Marks is going to be like so level 4, choose a Mystic Mark. Level 5, this is a really cool spell that they did come up with. Twitching Curse, and we tweaked it a bit. One action, reach, so tier 2 spell, maybe tier 2, maybe tier 3, I'm not sure. So we'll see about it. So 1d4, so not a lot of damage. Okay, so what in the world is this doing? On hit, okay, so 75% chance to hit. Curse an enemy within range. Whenever they end their turn adjacent to an enemy, they must move one space away. Opportunity attacks made this way are made with advantage instead of disadvantage. Ooh, okay. So like right away, Berserker is going to love it. Cheats are going to love it. Oathsworn are going to love it. So like a lot of classes who have like once per turn abilities, like sneak attack, they're going to love this kind of thing. So like that is a really cool like teamwork kind of spell. And then this curse is broken upon taking damage from an opportunity attack. and then frightened targets also fall prone, right? So if they're already frightened, so like the witch can hex this dude and then curse them, and if they're frightened, then they also fall prone. So not only that opportunity attack is made with advantage, but all melee attacks are made with advantage against this guy as well. So I think that's a really cool way to build on it. So will it deal more damage at 1d4? Probably. We're still sort of working on it. And then level 10, maybe level 10, maybe level 8. No, I'm not sure. Blood Cursed. So they called this. They called this something different. What do they call this? Hunger Steel is the name of what they called it. So just to gush on Fairy a little bit more, like all of their stuff is just like written like so. Even the project updates are like written in like in world. Like hail and well met wanderers, I bring glad tidings, and I shall not dilly nor dally. So so like the writing is really really cool. All right, see you, Brandon. We're doing some playtesting later tonight. So the writing is really cool. So like all the names and flavor of stuff is sweet. So they call it Hunger Steel, but I'm calling it Blood Cursed because it's not just with like steel things. It's gonna be like just a curse in general. So Blood Curse 2 actions, tier 5, maybe tier 6. We'll see. I think I'm going to. No, I think tier 5. I think tier 5. We'll leave it at tier 5, and I'm doing some cooking just right now because I'm thinking some stuff in my head. So Blood Curse, concentration, range 8. After a bad guy attacks, and obviously the wording will change. So after a bad guy attacks, they take some amount. After a bad guy attacks, they take the same amount of damage that they dealt, ending the curse. And if they're frightened, then they take 2 times. They take double damage against a frightened target. So again, super duper cool ability. So you wouldn't cast this against like some little guy who makes a bunch of little attacks, but one big like giant guy. This guy, like yeah, like you cast it against a storm giant, like yeah, very good spell against a storm giant or some hill giant or some other thing. They attack you. All right, sure, you take the same amount of damage, Buster. I think that kind of thing is really cool. And then I think obviously this would ignoring armor, just so you don't have to worry about like this and that. So give me 1 second, you guys. Someone is sending me a little piggy bang. Okay, okay, that is one of the artists. Okay, so 3 really cool like curses or hexes type of things. That all interact in a really interesting way with Frightened. And then we did add some additional spells that interact in interesting ways with Frightened also. So Rebuke this Radiant spell. It deals double damage against undead or cowardly. And what is cowardly? Those who are behind cover or those who are frightened, right? Okay, so Frightened. Yeah, good thought, Edward. Good thought, Edward. So a lot of other, not a lot, but some of the other spells interact in interesting ways with Frightened, and some of the necrotic spells also interact in cool ways with Frightened as well. It's like Unspeakable Word, they have disadvantage if they are bloodied or frightened, right? So, in the Witch being a necrotic spell casting class, I think it's really cool to be able to have some, but not too many of these cool interactions. If there's too many, then it makes you feel like, or if they're too good, it makes you feel like, oh, I have to do this before I can do this. Like some of those is neat. Too many of those really makes it feel like handcuffs. Okay, so that's where we are. Oh no, we have a couple of other things. So some ideas that we were thinking. So fragile is another diminishing condition that I was thinking, but I think we're going to not have this. I think we're going to not have this. Must roll a concentration check whenever you're damaged. So currently in Nimble, it's whenever you are crit, you have to roll a concentration check. But this would be whenever you're damaged. I think having too many different options to choose from, it's just like too many things to remember. So Range halved, roll disadvantage, cost additional action. I think that's easy enough to remember. But like most of the spells that you cast are not concentration. Every spell costs an action. Every spell, rolls something, and every spell has some range or reach. So I think that's okay. I think ooh, I think that's okay. Oh, my chest just cracked. Okay. So I think giving the witch a way to heal is cool. Like think like witch doctor kind of thing, or like a hedge witch, hedge mage, that type of thing. Just off topic, fast question: is 1.99 out? Yes, it is up, out. It is up and out. Zavi, the same link that you used before. And so everybody who's backed it should have received a Dropbox link. Use that same link. It's been updated. So yes, it is out. We're like 99% of the way there. Mostly just like a whole truckload of edits, like move this comma to another place. Like don't put a comma there, put a comma here instead. So lots of those. Some minor tweaks and things. Like I'm doing another playtest tonight, a higher level playtest, just to sanity check everything. I expect everything will go well, but so we're 99% of the way there. So if anybody was waiting to do playtesting and waiting to read it, we're there. We're there, guys. So witches also have this thing called an athame, and it's something I've never actually heard of. Okay. Black-handled double-edged dagger that is used in some neo-pagan and Wiccan rituals. Ooh, that's weird. It's a little bit creepy. Athame. Athame? How do you pronounce athame? Athame. Oh, interesting. I'm a dum-dum. Okay, athame. Athame. I think athame sounds cooler. So the witches have like this trinket, this token, this thing that they have. That because they have such a small mana pool, they have this thing. Maybe there's a delay. Didn't get the notification. Zave, are you talking about you just pre-ordered Nimble and didn't get it, or shoot me a DM or send me an email, evan@nimblerpg.com. Shoot me a DM on Discord or shoot me an email. If you didn't get it, I'll make sure you get it right away. Okay, so witches get this cool thing. I'm not sure if we're gonna have this. Maybe yes, maybe no. But sort of what I'm thinking is like a mana battery. So like if a mage would normally have like 20 mana, the witch might only have 10 mana. But they have this battery that like might have an additional like 5 or 6 mana in it, like an additional small amount of mana that they can, like, once all their mana is spent, if they want to do more cool stuff without having to diminish all their spells, they can like expend this to regain mana. Right, so they witches have this mana battery. So while it has mana in it, their spells have this cool boost. But once it's spent, they get their mana back, but their spells don't get this little boost. But yeah, pre-orders have been super wonky. Like the backer pre-orders, like notifications don't go out. I don't understand backer kit. It's super confusing, and I kind of hate it. It was great as a crowdfunding platform, but as like the thing that they were initially like designed to do, like as a management thing, like, oh man. Okay, don't get me started. Okay, so different athames. It's like the cane of oak and mistletoe. Like your healing spells heal additional stuff. Ritual dagger. Your spells deal necrotic damage. That kind of thing. Summoning bell. While your athame is charged, or while it has mana in it. Your minion, your summon, what is it called? Your familiar is stronger, like that kind of thing. Yeah, that kind of thing. So subclasses, yeah, there's the Coven. So I think they should be able to fly with like some sort of broom type of situation. Familiar, so witches should get a familiar, I think. So like this one has a vulture familiar. So I think so in order to distinguish them between from the shepherd and the and the Shadowmancer, and the Hunter, the Beastmaster Hunter, I think they get no stats. They don't really do anything in combat. The Familiar is like sort of an out of combat utility thing, could do little tasks, but they give you some little boon whenever you roll initiative. It's like maybe a Mastiff or a Vulture. Mastiff slash Vulture might give you like temp HP whenever you roll initiative. A Grimalkin, I don't actually know what that is. That is one of their names. A Grimalkin, an archaic term for a cat. Oh, okay. That's so funny. I've never heard of that. Grimalkin slash cat. Maybe they grant you additional mana, like 1 or 2 mana when you roll initiative. And then like a bat or a cat. So I didn't know a Grimalkin was a cat. So a Grimalkin, maybe like an imp. A bat or a cat grants you free movement. Like every turn, you can just move. You can move free, like something like that. I think that'd be cool. Seems our booklets would be an awesome way to publish new material. Yeah, I think so. If going the Patreon route, then every couple of years release. Yeah. Elbron, I'm thinking something similar to that. Like JP Couvert, he's definitely a big inspiration. Like he has a Patreon where like you sign up with this tier and like every month you get a new PDF. If you sign up with this other tier, which I've signed up with for the higher tier, he'll actually mail you like the zine of like whatever he made that month. I don't know that I can commit myself to doing like a thing every month. But like if someone is cool with like a every so often type of thing, because like I think like a new like a zine of like a new spell school would be cool, or a zine of like 10 or 20 new monsters might be pretty sweet. But like I could do a new spell school or like some monsters in a month. I pretty confidently. But I don't think I could do a good class in a month. A class, like a good class from scratch would take probably like 2 months, So, yeah. And like if I do a Patreon type of thing, it would be like, yeah, the patrons, they get to vote on like, what are we doing this month, guys? Like do we want more adventures? Do we want more classes and subclasses, or new classes, new subclasses for existing classes? Like so certain things might take 1 month, other things might take 2 months. So I don't know. I have to figure out how to manage that. Zavi, I pre-ordered because I missed the Kickstarter. I got it or received the update automatically when. Okay, yeah, I'll double check on that. I'll double check on that. Oh, Zavi, the update from 1.98, I think it was just a link to the Dropbox. So check the previous 1.98 version, and you should be able to use the same link to update it. So let me know if that isn't. But yeah, I love the zine format. I love the zine format. They're super cheap to print, and you can actually mail them internationally, very very inexpensively, or relatively inexpensively. So like mailing them like domestically, it's like $1, like it's $1.11 or something like that. So they're really affordable to ship them, and they're just cool little things to have. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I've since back get some feedback on their post campaign fulfillment stuff. Okay. So let's see if there's anything else. So yeah, their ability to change, change the choices, change their spells and things they picked, is called Bubble, and you have to cook at your cauldron during a safe rest. I think that's a cool thematic thing. They have this ability, spend hit dice to recover mana. I think we're not going to do that. Okay, so yeah, so that's what we have for the witch currently. So I'm going to go ahead and input all the ideas that I have. Hey, Santura, good to see you, man. I'm going to go ahead and put all the ideas that I have. So I just copied and pasted the mage document. So let's go ahead and start inputting it. So like, this level, your cantrips increase, that level, like you gain a subclass, just so I don't have to retype all of these things. And then we can tell like how many more abilities and things we need to come up with. And then we can sort of start formatting things. Okay, so key stats. I think they're going to be like a will-based class. They're going to be a will-based class. Let's look at the core rules. Let's go up to So they're definitely not strength based. I think they're not dex based. So I think it's going to be a will and int based class. Because they know the lore, they know the things, right? That is what they do. But they're not usually strong of body. Is there a second ability called Toil and Trouble? Yeah, that'd be cool. Let me write that down. So like just the name alone, like I'm immediately coming up with ideas. When a dude spins an action X, they get trouble. All right. Right. So Toil and Trouble, like what a cool name for an ability. Like when someone toils, when they toil, they get trouble, right? Yeah, isn't that sweet? Okay. Hit die. So let's check and see what hit die. I think they're going to be a D8 hit die. I think the witch is going to be a D8 hit die. So I'm just I'm trying to find the PDF. I think witches are like a bit more stout than a mage. I think we're gonna have them to be a D8 because that feels about right. Definitely not D10. D6, D8 feels about right. And I think I'm gonna lean toward D8 to also just differentiate them from the mage and the shadowmancer. So the mage is D6, hunter, so 13 hit points. So they'll start with 13 hit points. Saves, a will. And let's say they're not fast. Let's say they're not fast. Like maybe they have like that otherworldly strength type of thing. Armor cloth, yeah, that makes sense. Blade saves once. Yeah, that makes sense. Adventurer's garb. Dagger. And an odd plant is what they have. Odd planty. There we go. Okay, so their level 1 ability is Hex. Not Nex. Hex. Okay, so do we give them? I think we do give them diminution. I think we give them diminution. Just think about it. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. I don't want to confuse a level 1 person. Diminution. Whenever you cast a tiered spell, you may. So we don't need to say you may because it's choose one or more conditions. To reduce its mana cost by 1 for each chosen. Okay? Humble, weak, or slow. And I think slow is not a good one. Slow. Thesaurus. Combo weak or slow? I think it's okay. I think it's okay. That's probably fine. Are there touch spells, or is it just reach of one? During touch reach of one. Are there spells with no dice? I don't know. I'll come back to that. I don't want to. I don't want to spend too much time there. We'll just do this. E.g., humble on a spell with reach one. I think that's enough to clarify. Okay, let's see how you guys doing. You guys doing all right? Mickey W, thinking about Discworld witches versus wizards. Witches are definitely hardier. I don't know anything about Discworld. That makes me think of like a sci-fi thing with like CDs and stuff. What is Discworld? Discworld witches. Novels of Terry Pratchett. All right, so that shows how much I know. I thought Terry Pratchett was a woman. Taryn would definitely give me a failing grade for that. Okay, I'm not reading all that. Okay, so that is their level 1. Level 2. Sir Terry. Yeah, Sir Terry. I was way off. Very, yeah. Like, I've heard of it. And when I say I've heard of it, I think like Taryn mentioned it to me once because it was like an RPG thing. I think Discworld like has an RPG now or something. Ugh, I don't know. Okay, let's make this a bulleted list. Humble, weak, and slow. I think I'm going to come up with some cooler names than those, but I think it's a good start. I think we could definitely do better in the naming area. Okay, so you get diminution. So before you get diminution, you should have mana and unlock tier 1 and 2. So I'll just say unlock tiered spells. You unlock tier 1 and 2. I think we're just going to do this because they don't have a lot going on just yet. They don't have a lot going on just yet. That's okay. Just no Discworld witches, hardy old bats. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like you don't live to be 352, and you're not a little bit hardy, right? Something that I did watch or listen to for a while, but I had to stop. It was a little bit too spicy. What was it? www. It was www something. The Wizard, Witch, and Wild one. What was it? With Brennan. What is that called? Worlds Beyond Number. There it is. Worlds Beyond Number. So they have a witch class that is more like not creepy and weird, but like more of like, oh, just like a nice old grandma in a cottage, and not like the cottage is made out of gingerbread, you know. So yeah, so that is a cool. I don't know anything about like the class or anything that they have, but I just like the story wise how they had that set up. Okay, so gaining misery and diminution, and I think it's okay. Yeah, I think this is just a. Okay, so you unlock tier 1 and 2 spells from the Necrotic School, which would be what? What are the tier 1 and 2 spells in the Necrotic School? Withering Touch. Okay, it's good to have a touch spell. No, that's a cantrip. Sorry. No. Let's restart. Shadow Trap and Dread Visage. Yeah, that's cool. It's a bit of a nombo. Hey, Matt. Good to see you, man. Making coffee. All right, good morning. Heard about that one. Sounded good, but I haven't got into it. Like the first episode, I think the first episode is free. The first episode is like absolutely amazing. It goes a little bit downhill. It doesn't go downhill. Let me change it. I don't like listening to things with like a lot of like bad language in it. Just a personal thing. And things get pretty spicy. I'll just say that. Some of the episodes. So if you're not into like a lot of bad language and stuff, I wouldn't recommend it. But the first episode, as far as like, so like my wife isn't like she's not into like TTRPGs or anything like that. Like something that I've thought a couple of times is like if I take that first episode and like edit out like the maybe one or two bad words in it, like she'd listen to that whole thing like as if we were like sitting down and watching like Lord of the Rings movie. Like the production, it's just audio, it's a podcast. The production value in that thing is like hot fire. And these guys as storytellers, very good. So I subscribe to their Patreon. I think I might still be subscribed to their Patreon because they have like a prequel, a few episodes like a prequel where like all of these characters are children. And those ones don't have a lot of bad language in them because like they're kids, they're little kids, and it's like such a cool prequel of like how they got to be where they are, and like as far as like 10 out of 10 storytelling, like so good. But I can't, I unfortunately I can't wholeheartedly recommend it because of some of those other things. If there was like some edited like radio version, like man, I'd be all over that. What I expect from that bunch? Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, and I get it. Not everybody's making stuff just for me. So, hey. All right. What were we doing? So they get tier. So they get Shadow Trap and Dread Visage. So what I'm concerned about is Dread Visage, just a great witch spell. So that's fine. Shadow Trap. The next creature To move adjacent to you, suffer 3d12 damage if small or tiny. There's also grappled by shadowy tendrils. Could this be new monsters, new spell schools would be great? Yeah, that'd be cool. And the back of your thing, you can download the latest version. Yeah. So the last link, yeah, that's I believe that's the case because I hated having to go in and upload things every time. I just sent the link out, so it's just Dropbox. Yeah, people can share it, but like whatever. It's sort of honor system type of thing. So what I'm concerned about is this a non-bow? Shadow Trap versus the Twitch Curse. Like, no, I mean, you could choose, like, do you want them to be grappled? Do you want them to be running away? Like, whatever. I think it's okay. It's probably fine. Shadow Trap, Dread Visage, I think those are cool things. I would love for... Yeah, new monsters, new spells would be super duper cool. I think it'd be cool if the witch got, like, Entice. 24 no armor, make will save until they succeed. I mean, I guess it's fine. But I think it is so cool to just have no cantrips. Like witches don't cast cantrips. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the witch class. Oop, oop. There we go. Okay. What is it called? Misery? You learn the misery spell. Okay. What sort of witch aesthetics are you going for? I want to avoid like modern Wiccan stuff. Like I want to avoid like any ties to like extant religions and things. Like we're definitely playing on some of the tropes. I want them to have like a familiar, like maybe a vulture or a cat or something. I like being able to fly in a broom and like bubble out a cauldron, like just kind of like pop culture stuff. Like I'm totally with like pop culture stuff. Um, but I just personally like having like real world religion things in RPG. Just I don't know. Like just like if Legolas started talking about like Krishna or something, I'd be like, Legolas. I don't know. Yeah. So it's more like a hedge mage is what it is. Like a nature focused, maybe death focused. I don't want it to be like super creepy. I really don't want the witch to be like a super creepy thing. I want it to be like someone who's like cool and helpful, but if you get on her bad side, then she can curse you, right? Yeah, exactly. Lathander gets too Catholic. Yeah. I don't mess with anything like that. So like even like with the heroes like the Oathsworn and the Shepherd, like there's no connection. Like if you want to role play any of that kind of stuff, like the Oathsworn, they just swear oaths, right? They're just like I'm about to protect some people. Yeah. Like if you want to do the whole paladin, like you serve this whatever thing, um like the shepherd, like they just like they do cool stuff with like life and death. Like they help shepherd people to the other side. There's not any like gods or whatever they're serving. Like I don't know. Like I don't want to really mess with all that kind of stuff. Like I'm a Christian personally, but like I want to keep that kind of stuff like separate. Yeah, I don't like I've got enough I've got enough stuff in my real life like um sí, pero yes, but the link is something for something something. I could speak Spanish a little bit. We're like the shepherd. Yes, so I think I want let's move away from the necrotic only. I want to do necrotic and wind. Okay, so something cool about the wind spell school. Let's go to the wind. Something cool about the wind spell school. Where is it? Is that they are sort of like this life giving spell school as well. They have like breath of life. They can restore this dying creature. I want the witch just like the shepherd has like radiant and necrotic, like a little bit of spicy, a little bit of sweet, sweet and sour. I want the witch to have that kind of dichotomy. Like they are typically like this healing force, but if you get on her bad side, they can do this kind of stuff to you. Yeah, I think that is what we're going for. I think that's what we're going to go for. So rather than just necrotic spells, like I just want to think of how we're going to do that reward. Am I Roman Catholic? No, I'm not Roman Catholic. I'm the member of the Church of Christ. Yeah. So if you guys want a religion stream, totally down for a religion stream, but that's a very different stream because I do preach sometimes. I would suggest going to sort of decay and regrowth. Yeah. Yep. Witherbloom, Arthurian, Fey inspiration. Yeah. Let me get my thing. Like one source of big inspiration. Ooh, it's getting hot. I gotta turn off the. Close the vent. My wife just turned up. Yeah. So I want to keep that stuff separate. Sorcery. So sorcery contested realms is a really cool thing, and the latest expansion is Arthurian Legends. Let's go to the face cam. Arthurian Legends. So it's really cool. I really love that aesthetic of it. That is definitely one of my favorite things. Yeah. Yeah. So, so how do we handle the witch? Maybe need to drop. All right, see zombie. Which I could polymorph enemies at mid high levels. Yeah, polymorph is a cool thing. Yeah. Let's write down some of these ideas. Polymorph. If we only had a plant/growth spell school. So I have been cooking up an earth spell school, but I don't think that would be appropriate for a witch. It's like rocks and like some plants and things, but like witches, like they don't make plants grow really. They can do things with life and they can do things with death, but that is not their vibe. That is definitely not their vibe. Expulsive, explosive. Sebastian. I don't understand what explosive is. If you want to, yeah. So sorry. If you want to ask that in a different way, and I'd be happy to answer that. Let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, so I want to avoid like the trope of like the wicked witch, the bad guy. Prophecies typical trope for witches. Yeah, like a seer type of thing. Yeah, like a seer type of thing. Polymorph, seer, vibes. So I'm just thinking right now, what if the witch just doesn't get access to any of the normal spells? What if the witch just like had her own spells? What if the witch had her own spells? I think that might be too much. I don't want to start from square zero, square one. Polymorphs your vibes. So something that I'm thinking. So let's go back to the thing. Avoids it. I'm not too worried about this feeling like a reskin shepherd or shadowmancer or mage. Like it's already different enough. It's definitely already different enough. Yeah. Okay, what if Hex was a tier 1 spell? And what if you got Diminution at level 1? Come on. What's going on? Do I need to release? So she definitely has at least 3 special spells so far, maybe a 4th one. Yeah. Okay, that should fix this. Yes, there we go. Whenever you cast a tiered spell, choose one or more conditions to reduce the mana cost by 1 for each chosen. I don't know. We're still cooking. We're still cooking. It's still a little bit raw. I think we have to keep diminution at level 2. So initially I was going to like make this whole new class and take a lot of time to do it, and I was like, nah, I should really stick a lot closer to the fairy thing. So that's where I started yesterday night, and then after like an hour of development, I'm basically this is a completely new class. I'm taking some inspiration from the fairy stuff. Oh, what happened to? Let's just undo. It's really becoming its own class, and I'm just taking some inspiration from the fairy thing. Like some of the names are cool, but that's kind of it. Potions is something very relatable. Yeah. Maybe you can build it aggro or support it depending on your spell spots of premonition. So I think I would avoid the advantage rolls or inspiration. That I want to avoid that. That is very much a songweaver, a bard kind of thing. That is like strictly their lane. So I think I'm definitely going to avoid that. But I am okay with like cursing bad guys and healing allies. I'm okay with both of those. Like, and she would heal in a slightly different way. I don't think I'm gonna use any of their art. I'm not gonna use any of their art, I don't think. But we'll see. All right. Okay. Okay. So what if we just don't call it a cantrip? Let's just don't call it a cantrip. Let's go back to the core rules. Okay, so Breath of Life is a cantrip that I would like her to have. Do we want to give her wind spells? Fly is cool. But she wouldn't really fly that way. I don't think her having wind spells makes sense. Does her having fire spells make sense? Not really. She can't really apply Smoldering. Heart's Fire is fine. I don't see her really doing that. Enchant Weapon, no. No, I don't see her having fire spells or ice spells. Like, there could be, like, a Snow Witch or something. I think only necrotic spells. I think only necrotic spells, and then she would have her own, like, cool twist on them. Hard requirement for only, yeah, speaking rhymes. Yeah. Um, Talking, did you say this would be available later? Some sure cross collab. So currently it is strictly this cross collab thing. Yeah, I did answer that if you want to rewind a little bit. So currently, yes, it is only from this cross collab. At some point in the future, might this be available via some other means? Maybe. Um, but right now, I want to respect people um, who back Nimble and Fairy. I want to respect the Fairy people's content, Connor and Aston. And I want to make sure that everything is on the up and up. You know, we're using their stuff as inspiration. So I want to make sure anything we do is cleared with them. And so, like, anytime you're working with other people, you got to be a little bit careful. Okay, so yep. But would it be a cool thing to release later? Yeah. Art gave me blank vibes. What is blank vibes? Perp, which that dances, sings, healing, cursing. Oh, okay. Singing and dancing witches. I don't think singing and dancing is the vibe we're going for at all. Okay, so let's go back to the document. This one. You unlock tier 1 and 2 spells from the Necrotic School and learn the Misery spell. You some previous messages were blocked. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I don't know why it's doing that. You gotta be careful what you say, I guess. All right, so let's grab Misery. Consult the bones. Something. Sometimes it gets overzealous, not understanding context. Okay. Misery. 2/2. 1 action. Concentration. Oh, Esmeralda from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. She would definitely be much more a song weaver than a witch, I think. Yeah. IMO, my opinion. Audio's. I am muting myself if I like need a call for something. Maybe that's it. But you guys let me know if my audio is going bonky. I don't think it is. I haven't dropped any frames yet, so I don't think it's on my end. Audio's okay over here? Good. But then I unmute myself. You don't fall. All right. Is your cat stepping on the the mute button or something? Oh, yeah. Frollo does call her witch in a song. Oh. Good. Nothing major lost. Okay. All right. So subclass, choose a witch subclass. So I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how we're going to frame it for this. Let's go ahead and do boil. I think that's a cool. Where is it? Bubble. You may choose different options whenever you blah during a safe rest. Whenever you cook at your cauldron during a safe rest. That's kind of cool. Terry Tipke. Hey. I did last night. I think I did. I think brew should be like you brew potions and things at your cauldron. You don't really cook in a cauldron. I guess you actually cook in a cauldron, but a witch brews at her cauldron. Okay. Mystic mark. All right, so let's figure out her spell situation is sort of get me her spell situation. Inadvertent compliment. There you go. Cool. Cool. Yeah. So what are we doing with her spells? I don't think fire and wind really fit. I don't think fire and wind really fit as things. I think every witch should be able to heal. Healing spell, but it should feel different than like radiant healing. She should get a healing spell. Okay, so she has a tactical / team work spell. So she has a tactical teamwork spell. It's a Twitch Curse. Twitching Curse. I kind of like Twitch Curse better. She has a conditional big damage spell, which is Blood Cursed. I think Twitch Curse. Twitch. Like Blood Curse flows cool as one word. Twitch Curse doesn't flow good as one word. Let's come up. Flutter, jerk, jiggle, shudder. Triple Curse. Ooh, Lurch Curse sounds cool. Lurch Curse sounds cool. Yank, shiver, move. Squirm Curse? Yeah, Squirm Curse is okay. Like Twitch, yeah, I guess we could just have it 2 words. I don't want to spend too much time thinking of names. So healing spell. So what would her healing spell be? We already have the hunter subclass who can like make like potions, like brews and things, like a healing salve. So I think this should be like a magical healing, but maybe it uses the target's hit dice. Maybe it uses the target's hit dice. Now the fool begins to scram. Yeah. Healing spell. Okay, we have a bread and butter spell. X. We have a debuff spell. Misery. Okay, so we have these different kinds of spells. The players can give things to the witch to get potions in return. Yeah, that might be cool. Okay, so her healing spell should be, her healing spell needs to be at least tier 4. Okay, so because she can reduce the well, she reduced the mana cost of any spell by up to 3 mana. So anything that is tier 3 or lower, she can cast for 0 mana. She can cast as much as she wants when out of combat. But if it uses a different resource instead of mana, if it uses a resource of their hit dice, then it doesn't need to be a tier 3 spell. It could be a tier 1 or 2 spell. 1, 2, or 3 spell. Okay. That's kind of cool. Concentration. Looking up cool words, you guys. Innervate. Ooh. In the game, it's ingredients and specific stuff, but you can use them to make some giving mana plays. Yeah, like everybody has hit dice, so like contributing hit dice. Like you, a willing target can lend you a hit die, and you can do something cool with that. Maybe like they can, like the witch adds her own key to it, or something. Energize, invigorate. Because like a witch in a neighborhood, like in a village, is like she's the person you go to for like healing and stuff. You'll go to her for healing. So she could. So what would we call that? Like what would she call that? Like rejuvenation? Call it rejuvenation or. Healing spell. I want it to be like something nature-y sounding. Nature's blessing. Nature's gift. Yeah, like blessing and cursing. Nature's gift. Ancient medical texts have great verbiage. Yeah, I bet they do. Kindle Constitution. Maybe just something like enliven. Or bloom. What if it's something like bloom? Invigorating ichor? No, not ichor. I don't want her to be too. I don't want her to be too spooky. This is like, so she does the spooky stuff, but she also does some other things. I kind of like bloom. Whoop. Bloom is kind of cool. Okay, so I think it's going to be tier 2 spell, range 8. So like all her range, the range of her things is 8. Expend 1. Expend 1. It's like she could spend her own hit dice or someone else's hit dice. That's kind of cool. Okay, so let's not say expend, let's say consume. Consume 1 hit die from yourself or a willing target. Heal them 1. Okay, so which spells? Okay, so it might need to be tier 3. We're still cooking. So I think which spells need to be strong by default, so that if they are cast in combat, you can sort of bring the strength of it down by using diminution. So I think they need to be strong by default, but expensive by default. So tier 3. I think that's cool. I think that's cool. Let's get rid of these. Yeah, maybe she just doesn't have any necrotic spells. Maybe she just doesn't. Does the witch have her own spell school? I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Yeah, go and hit the like button also if you guys haven't already. I appreciate it. It helps other people find it. Okay. We'll keep cooking on it. Blood Curse, I think, is in a good spot. It is a tier 5 spell, so it costs 5 mana. So it could cost 2 mana if they. The witch should have her own spell school. Yeah. She's so different. That's fair. Let's take a look. So I think necrotic spells that I think would fit for her. Shadow Trap, I don't know that fits. Dread Visage, I think does fit. It's like Vampiric Greed and Greater Shadow, like those don't really fit. Yeah, I think Dread Visage, like so maybe she just learns Dread Visage. Like maybe she just learns like certain spells from other, rather than learning certain spells. She just knows like, or rather than learning certain schools, she knows just certain spells. She knows Breath of Life. She knows Dread Visage. She might know Heart's Fire. Yeah. Yeah, maybe she does have her own spell school. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. bread and butter spell, hex. So then we could have a polymorph spell. We could have a polymorph spell. Crowd control type of thing. So I think dread visage is cool. Or something like it. Some defensive reaction spell. Oh, you know what? Maybe Twitch Curse is her defensive reaction spell. Maybe we use that. Twitch Curse could be her reaction spell. Yeah. She could learn stuff from other people. Yeah. That way, if she starts to fall behind, the GM can adjust and learn as well. Yeah. Possibly. So, okay, so Twitch Curse could be reaction. Defend. Now, I do like Twitch Curse better. Twitch Curse. Hey man, good to see you, Taryn. Always wanted to catch you starting Nimble class. Yeah, oh man. So I started cooking. So Taryn, this one started like, all right, we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna keep it super duper simple, and then like I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. I'd rather it be good than simple and easy. Thanks for joining. I can't do medium. I can't do medium. It has to be great. It has to be something I'm super excited about. Okay, so yeah, Twitch Curse is going to be a reaction. So when you defend, do so for free. So it's not going to be a D4 anymore. The creature attacking you must move moves one space. Reaction when attacked. When attacked. Okay, so let's do this. Reaction when attacked. I think that makes sense. When attacked. Territory, I'm very fond of Twitch Curse. It could be easily flavored like cute. Yeah, creature attacking you moves one space of your choice. Okay, reach 8, tier 3. When attacked by a creature, then reach. Yeah, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. The creature attacking you moves one space of your choice. Okay. Opportunity attacks made this way are made with advantage. Triggered this way are made with advantage instead of disadvantage. Frightened targets also fall prone. I think that is really, really cool. Okay, so she can cast this for 0 mana if if they're within a reach of 4, if she spends an additional action, which is very expensive. So I think this should be a tier 2 spell. Tier 2 spell. Ooh, are you still attacked? Defend free. So it does cost your defend. So you can't use this more than once. Once per round, that is. Okay. The creature attacking moves 1 space. So what if it was the creature attacking you first moves 1 space of your choice? Blood magic. I do love bloodbending from Avatar. I will admit, Evil Katara is pretty cool. But I want this witch to be like able to do spooky stuff, but not like necessarily spooky. So like this is the art. This is the art that we're going with so far. So she does have like she's got a little bit of creepiness going on, but she's still also kind of nice. Like the local villagers go to her for healing and stuff, but also like her familiar is a vulture. All right, so she's got a little bit of a spooky edge, but she's not an edgelord. So that is the vibe we're going for. So initially it was like a very spooky type of thing, but I think we're moving away from that. Like a little bit of divination, yeah. So like one of her abilities is like consult the bones or like read the bones, like that kind of stuff. Like a little bit of divination, a little bit of healing, a little bit of spooky kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. The I think we'd probably get rid of this now. That's probably a little bit too much. The triggering attack misses if you are no longer within the. Yep. We're definitely brewing now. We're definitely brewing now. Tons to learn. Earth School with plant shenanigans. No. Definitely not Earth School. I am thinking of an Earth School thing with a lot of cool stuff. She does not feel earthy to me at all. The triggering attack misses if you no longer back target. The creating the creature, the attacker. Attacker is dead. Ow. You are out. Okay, yeah, that is cool. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's just get rid of that Twitch Curse, tier 2 spell. I think because you can, yeah, this has to be a tier 3 spell. So cost 3 mana by default, but if they're within reach 8, like if it's a melee attack, you can make it cost 2 mana. Can you slow? You can spend additional action instead of a mana, which is kind of cool. It's expensive, but it's cool. And then decrement the roll disadvantage. Can you roll with disadvantage? I don't know. I had a go at wording it. Ooh, go ahead, share with me. And Taryn, if you're still here, if you want to come hang out, feel free, man. Reach 8 reaction. When you become the target of an attack, force the target to move 1 space in the direction of your choice. Then if the target's along, yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah. I'll work on the wording. Yeah, I'll work on the wording. So you could reduce this by like up to 2 mana. So yeah, this always costs a mana, but it's a very, very, very good spell. Okay, Blood Cursed. Concentration. I think they should have a... They should have some sort of melee attack. Melee/touch attack. Like a really bad hex. Bad hex. What if their hex cantrip? On crit, or if on crit or if adjacent. Ooh, that's cool. You can just immediately make them frightened of you. On crit or if adjacent. Or yeah, what if instead of that, advantage against creatures with a condition or adjacent creatures. So like if something's next to you, like you can hex them extra bad, right? That's kind of cool. So this will be, instead of reach, this will be, instead of range, will be reach. Reach 8. It's kind of cool. Were you looking for voice chat? Oh, I don't know. You just give me a call on, I'll give you a ring on. There we go. Bing boom, bing boom.
Let me see if that worked. Hello.
Hey, how's it going, man? How's your new year?
Do what?
How's your new year?
Oh, boring. Just kind of hung out at the house, you know. I feel like after 24 New Year's parties got to be a little bit like, okay, this is more danger than it's worth. So,
Yes,
but,
yes.
yeah, man. How about you?
Pretty good. I was cooking. I was super tired, but I stayed up after past the new year accidentally, just working. So
Hey, there you
that
go.
was my
Yeah, you're not boring yet.
yeah. So yeah, man, I'm cooking up a witch class. This is based off of so so I told you about Backer Kit's cool collaboration thing. So like when I was running my thing, so I cross collabed with this other company that was running at the same time, Fairy. And one of the cool things in this was they made a homebrew witch class for 5e. I said, okay, a cool like cross collab thing. If you back both of them, I'll take their witch class and I'll make it for Nimble. And like, foolish me, I was thinking, oh, this would take me like, an hour or two. I'll leave
Right.
everything the same. Change bonus action to action, and like we'll be done, right?
Yeah.
But no. This is I've gotten myself deep now, and I'm too excited to stop.
This is
So
interesting. This is like the 4th time I've heard of a witch class in the last week for some reason.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So
So
what
we're vibing.
is it, a like just pure adaptation of what they wrote?
So it started off as like, all right, I'm gonna make it as close to their thing as I possibly can. I will change as little as possible.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't realistic. It just wasn't realistic. So now it's basically I'll take like 1 or 2 of their cool ideas, and then everything else I'm just I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
but they do have a really cool core concept of diminution. So the cool thing about the witch is like they don't get cantrips. Everything they do cost mana. So they only cast like leveled spells or tiered spells. But
Okay.
they can make it, they can lower the cost of it, the mana cost of it, by like undercasting. Instead of upcasting, they can undercast. So an ability called diminution. Whenever you cast a tiered spell, you can choose 1 or more of these to reduce the mana cost by 1. So they can half the range or reach. They can roll at disadvantage, or they can make spend additional action. So I think
Gotcha.
that's a really cool like so that is an adaptation of their core mechanic of the class. So it's still like kind of using what they're going with, but yeah, now we're cooking.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Okay. I it's an interesting idea. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, make it less effective. I mean, the trade-off of just making it less effective for basically free resources is definitely cool.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where we are. So she's got some hexes and some bad things. So yeah, I'm liking it so far. So we're sort of just feeling out the vibe. So last night I worked out some of the core mechanics that we want to go for. And
Uh-huh.
now we're sort of developing like the actual content. So like none of the existing spell schools and spells like really fit all that well. I didn't think so. Like, all right, we'll treat her more like a melee class that just sort of like gets abilities. So we'll just give her own spell school, her own unique
Okay.
abilities and things.
All right. All
Um,
right. Yeah, I was kind of looking. Can I see the class like stat loadout, the hit die and training and all that stuff?
yeah. So hit die D8. So D10, D12 felt like too much. D6 felt like not enough. So she's a little bit stout.
Okay.
Cloth armor, I think, because she can debuff enemies enough, and like she can punish dudes for hitting her. So I think cloth armor is fine.
Right. Right.
Weapons, like whatever. I don't know.
Lead stabs one, starting gear. Okay. Um. So cloth armor. What does that particularly mean to Nimble?
What does what mean armor?
Cloth armor. Yeah.
Yeah, cloth armor just means that so like cloth armor, their armor is like 2, 3, 4, 5 plus dex, right? So
Okay.
their armor is going to be in the neighborhood of like 2 to 10, like at
All
very
right.
very high levels. So that's about as much armor as they're going to have. So when they defend, so that they can spend an action to defend and reduce an attack by that much.
Yeah. So this is I try to anytime that I'm starting out some kind of a class, I'm like I try to define their combat zone real quick.
Yep.
Um, and I mean, since this is like we're going off fantasy dragon game kind of structure tactics, I'm
Yep.
thinking it's mostly going to be a this already feels like a midline
Yeah.
possible backliner.
Yeah, so like not as far back as like she's not super squishy.
Yeah.
But yeah, mid back, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Quarterback, halfback. that
There
that
you
kind
go.
of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're definitely getting the vibe. So she's not like super spooky, like all death and stuff. Like this is more did you watch anything with Worlds Beyond Number, Brennan Lee Mulligan's podcast? Did you listen to any of that?
Oh, I I've got a big confession to make to the whole TTRPG scene. I can't watch actual plays. Like it is not my thing.
So,
Um,
if you haven't
but
checked that one out, at least check out like the first intro thing. It's
okay.
it's not it's not a watch. It's not a thing you watch. It's just audio, and it's
Okay.
like it's edited. It's like all the slow things and like it's well produced. At least listen to the first one. I think the
Yeah,
first
that
one's pretty
makes it
cool.
listenable. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So what
but
yeah, so
but
what's going on with that?
yeah. So in that one, the witch was one of the characters, and like she was more like a kindly grandmother. People in the village would come to her for aid and like to help, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So can she spit some hexes and stuff if you get on her bad side? Yes, but like that's not primarily her vibe.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
So we're
So
talking a bit more of a like pagan I guess more of the modern day idea of like a healing witch idea.
yeah, we're staying away from like Wiccan things and pagan. Like we're staying far away from all that sort of stuff.
Right.
For all the classes, but yeah, like not necessarily a bad one. If you want to play a bad witch, you can. If you want to play like a Glinda the Good Witch type of thing, you could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is always like my tricky thing with witches. It's the same problem I run into, and I think that 5e has with rangers, is like the pop culture influence on, hey, this is what a witch is or this is what a
Yeah.
ranger is
Yep.
so vast that it's really hard to pin down like exact specifics on their features.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think everybody kind of expects a hex of some kind.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So that is her primary thing.
Yeah. Okay, well, cool. Um, so I guess what's the L1? What's my like combat loop?
So Hex, so action, so from range, she can, this is like a 1d6, so like a relatively like modest damage, 1d6 damage. But the attack has advantage against creatures with a condition. So like she likes to apply conditions or adjacent
Yeah.
creatures. And on crit, so she rolls a 6, she frightens them, right?
Okay.
So you're more likely to frighten someone who's like right next to you. You're more likely to crit someone who's right next to you. And if you hex, like you can hex over and over again, if you apply the frightened condition, then you're from then on like you're rolling with advantage against that creature. So like the witch is like someone, so like just mechanically like at a table, like where we started was like if she's applying conditions, like I cannot be bothered to track like 10 different conditions across like 7 different monsters, and like no way. Like she's hexing like one dude and focusing on that
Yeah.
guy, right? So like if she can get a condition on someone, like she's going to focus on that guy, right?
I if I might make a suggestion here, I don't know exactly like how good this would be or if it kind of fits within Nimble. Um so one of the things I know about 5th edition in particular is that frightened gets bad. Like it gets if you it's one of those things that like as a DM to players, it's like this is a pretty big restriction on your movement, and that really hurts frontliners in 5th
Yeah, so
edition.
I did, so yeah, in 5e it's a little bit dumb. So I
Ye
it is changed a little bit for Nimble. It's
Okay.
disadvantage on rolls while your source of fear is nearby. So like whatever. And moving closer to your source of fear is difficult terrain. So it's not that you can't, it's just it's harder for you to, so it takes twice as much movement.
Okay.
So it's a debuff and not like a debilitating thing like, oh, I'm like 10 feet away, you can't touch me type of thing.
And your charmed is a bit stronger mechanically than what they do in 5e. Okay, because I was gonna recommend it applies both charmed and frightened, but with this, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, maybe I would be a little bit more reserved.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
know that the witch in my head canon is a charmer necessarily. Maybe.
okay,
Maybe. Um have you guys ever seen Witches of Tinder? Have you guys ever seen that one?
which which is a tender.
Witches of Tinder.
Um, uh,
Have you seen this?
no, I was thinking of a different kind of tender, I guess.
No, no. All right, all right, all right. Everybody, watch this. All right. This is Witches of Tinder.
Oh yeah, Worthy Kids. Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
must see
yeah.
this
Okay.
incredible app I've downloaded.
What is it, Joanna? What is
Yeah,
that?
I
It's called Tinder.
Yeah. What's up? Were you saying something?
who me?
Oh no, thought you were.
Oh, sorry.
Edward, I'm an animator, so I dig silly animation looks. All right, so like this is basically like a silly joke about like these two witches. Just search witches on Tinder. Um, she pretends to be like a pretty woman, basically. She uses so she changes her appearance like that. That's kind of cool. Like so she could like deceive in that way, but I don't really see charming as one of their things. Um, so they have hex. So this is sort of like the bread and butter. It doesn't really cost any resources. They can just sort of do this. Misery, in like the names, they're probably going to change. So this is going to cost some resource, and it deals like a good bit of damage, but it does cost some resources. You can apply your choices of blind, dazed, or frightened. So dazed is just they lose one action, so like they can
Yeah.
they can do one fewer things. And then so there's no save or anything. So like they take the damage and the thing happens, but they do make a will save, I think. And if they do save, you gain that same condition. So like if you apply blind, like if their will is strong enough, they can like sort of reflect a portion of this back at you, and like you're blinded as well.
Yeah.
Um, but it's only for as long as you hold concentration, right? So like you can decide when the blind ends or when the daze or the frighten ends. So like it sort of gives you it provides a balance, but it gives you control over like how long it lasts. I think that's a pretty cool little thing.
Is because the way that this does the trade off here, um, and I think there's an interesting idea here. I I the thing that would always have me worried, especially in things like this, is like, is there something I could maybe get through like a magic item or whatever that could completely subvert this feature? But like at second level, if it just naturally gets better vis-a-vis like they adventure later on and get something to subvert that, I think that's kind of just a cool storytelling beat.
Mhm.
Where like you don't really have to put in like this feature gets better for you as you level up. It's just kind of a natural thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah.
Okay. I'm not too worried about like so scaling is easy enough. Like I can make the damage scale more or whatever. But the
Right,
value
right.
of these things like gets more powerful as the monsters get more powerful. So
Yeah.
I think that's like a self-balancing thing that I don't have to worry about too much. Um so all the spell schools have like a cool like reaction, like a defensive reaction thing. And this one is so whenever she's attacked, she can first make the attacking creature move one space, so like a twitch curse. Um, and then so that triggers opportunity attacks. So nimble opportunity attacks are made with disadvantage normally, but opportunity attacks triggered this way. So like if there is an ally next to that guy and they're attacking you, so you can set up some really big cool turns with like the cheat, the rogue with the sneak attack, or the berserker with their things. So like certain classes really prefer like they really like opportunity attacks a lot. So it's a
Yeah.
cool, it's a very cool like teamwork thing. If you can set it up, this is incredibly powerful. Or you can just like make them jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
Um, opportunity attacks triggered this way are made with advantage instead of disadvantage. And if it's like a melee attack, like you're just like you're no the attack misses, like the attack fails. If you move them like away from you. So I think that one's pretty sweet. Blood Curse is a like you curse someone. It doesn't deal any damage, but the next attack they do, they take the same amount of damage.
Mhm.
Which ends the curse. And I'm thinking something like double damage against a frightened target. So if they're frightened, they take twice as much damage. Like that's really powerful against like really big monsters.
Okay.
Um, and then we have where's Bloom? We have this, so some other ideas. Some sort of polymorph spell, like you change him into a squirrel, like some sort of crowd control type of thing might be fun. And then Bloom like a healing type of spell might be fun. So you consume one hit die from yourself or a willing target, and then you heal them some amount of hit points. I think that would be cool. Twitch curse target becomes a video game streamer with 2 viewers.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, okay, interesting. The polymorph spell is crowd control. Polymorph is such an interesting space in fantasy. Like, whenever we're writing anything like that as a game option, it's such a like at times confusing, at times frustrating.
Mhm.
Um, this feels like the kind of thing that I want to give people access to so early on. I think
Yeah.
it feels so cool. But then the moment that I do, it breaks the game in half. And I'm like, all right, well,
How yeah. So I agree, but how does it break your games?
So generally the thing for me is like polymorph is objectively the strongest exploration tool in the entire game. Very few options allow
Oh, like
players to
casting it
do.
on yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Gotcha, gotcha,
Or
gotcha,
I
gotcha.
mean, just any of your teammates. Um, this was the thing. Like I had to reel it back in with Vagabond. Um, the thing for me was like in one of the starter adventures I wrote. there's a grate really early on, and this grate is meant to be like, oh, okay, well, this funnels water down later on into the dungeon.
Uh-huh.
And what people were doing was polymorphing into like a butterfly or a mouse or something,
Gotcha, gotcha,
and
gotcha.
just like running through the grate and kind of like speed running through the dungeon. And I was
Yep.
like, well, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. And I kind of had to come to the mindset that like, um, not a lot of games or not a lot of adventures written for the OSR are really like trying to consider things like, hey, this power that we gave somebody, they can subvert the entire dungeon with it. And
Yeah.
instead they're just trying to come up with a scenario, you
That
know?
yeah, that's a fun, like, video game thing to do, but, like, if the GM, like, prepped for, like, an hour or 2, like, this dungeon, and you just skip all of it, like, that just sucks.
Yeah,
That
it
sucks.
can be obnoxious. And a part of it is like, okay, is it really the power that's the problem, or is it me just like writing a weak idea for this dungeon thing right here?
I I
And
I think it's a little bit of
yeah,
both. I think it's like the 5e polymorph is kinda dumb. So, like, the polymorph that I was thinking is, like, turn a dude into a frog,
right.
that kinda thing. And, like, if he takes damage, it ends. You know, it's like you can temporarily, you can calm things down a little bit, and,
Yeah.
that kinda thing.
Okay. Okay.
And I think the name of the spell might just be turn to frog or, like, frogify.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy VII just literally called it frog.
They did what?
Final Fantasy VII has a spell that I think it's either frog song or frog that just turns you into a frog.
Befrog?
Yeah,
Frogify?
full
Turn
frog. Yeah.
Yeah, befrog is, like, funny because it's also just bee frog.
Like amphibify or
Yeah, amphibify. Um, Toad curse is fun, right? I love coming up with the names. Okay, so ends on damage. I could just say damage ends. Concentration. Turn to frog is the weakest of these. Frogify, befrog, toad curse. I think all of those are better. Damage ends, concentration. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
how do you so whenever it comes to like, okay, you've got like a polymorph thing here. Um is there any defense in stat blocks that prevents people from doing that to like the legendary monsters or things?
Yeah, I would probably add some sort of like rider on it. So like it might be so like yeah, good question. So there isn't legendary resistances in Nimble, per
Right.
se. So like for a lot of these abilities, like it just works. Like if you stun a dude, they're stunned until the end of the next turn. But for a legendary monster, it's just like until like for one person's turn, not for a whole round, because they act after each hero. So like a lot
Yeah.
of that is self balancing already. Um, so like if they're fighting a legendary monster and they turn it into a frog, well, like nobody can like the moment someone damages it, um, then it's a legendary monster again, you know.
Yeah.
So like this one would probably have some sort of a will save. This one would probably require a will save. And legendary monsters, they have so like this guy. This is our not a mind flayer. So he has like he'll roll 2 additional dice for his will save. So he'll roll 30, 20 and just take the highest. So
Gotcha.
he'll have an easier time saving against it. But like it's not really for it's not that great of a spell. I don't see that spell breaking breaking a legendary encounter
Okay.
because like the players can't deal any damage to it. Um, and this could be like concentration up to like instead of up to 1 minute up to like like x seconds or something. Like they can't just like turn into a frog or run away or like there's a lot of different knobs that we can turn, I think, to
Hmm.
to make it work. uh yeah, frogify sounds cool. Bloom, heal them. X. I'll leave the numbers rough for now. Hmm. Like a seer vibe would be cool. Something with assess. Okay, because that's like they're able to see things happening. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, there's whenever I was trying to like write witch features, I actually bought this book of like a bunch of it's called like Maleficium and something or other like that. But I was just doing research on like what are the like classic old witch terms that I was like these have to make for cool spells or something like that.
Right.
Um some of the ones I found were like owl blasted. I was like that sounds and it's just like that's a version of charm.
This owl,
Um
like OWL?
yeah, owl blasted. Yeah.
That's so funny. That's a cool word. That's sweet.
You got yeah, like owl blasted, Maleficium. Um that was the one that I was like, ooh, this is there's some bite there. There's some like yeah, that classically kind of witch bite.
Yeah.
Um
Is there a witch? Is there a witch class in Vagabond? You do have a
yeah,
bunch of
oh yeah.
classes. Oh, okay. What's your take on the witch? I should have asked you that.
Um my yeah, usually whenever other people are designing, I try not to go like, "Hey, I did this already. Here you go. Take a look at mine."
Sure.
But no, if I mean, you're welcome to look at it if you want to check it out. The idea was
Is
like
V1 1.4, is that the latest or is that an older one?
2.0 is the latest.
Okay. I think you sent me the latest one. No, go ahead.
I will say though, I don't think the Witch has changed much since 1.4 because that one's gotten tons of playtest.
Okay.
But
Cool.
yeah, the idea with it was so like sorcerer and wizard are so focused on damage based like blasting. And I like the witch as this debuffer vis-a-vis I can stack conditions where nobody else can.
Gotcha.
So everything's supposed to feel like you kind of do a build a curse along the way.
How are conditions in Vagabond?
You mean like how severe or like how do they actually
I don't know, like how many do you have? What do they do?
ah so that should be in adventuring and if I'm let me
Statuses?
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. There you
Okay.
go.
Berserk, it can't focus, can only move attack. And rush doesn't make more. Okay. Blinded. Well, I like how you're vulnerable. That is cool. What is vulnerable? I assume that it's attacks. Okay, it's attack saves.
Yeah, so
That's
the
cool.
way since monsters aren't making attack rolls in Vagabond, I tried to come up with a keyword that made it clear that like, hey, this interaction always acts to the detriment of whoever is vulnerable.
Mhm.
And just kind of key everything off of that instead of explaining, well, heroes are hindered and attacks against them if their monsters are favored. Like
Yeah, it
like,
is nice to
it's like
have something like that.
yeah, like flat-footed or whatever from
Yeah.
Pathfinder. It's yeah.
Burning. Okay, continuous damage. Can't willingly attack the charmer. Confused. Confused. That's interesting. Confused. Its checks and saves have hinder and saves against it. Okay. Dazed. It can't focus or move. So moving is normally free, right? Like you get a move in Vagabond.
Yeah. You get your
Gotcha.
move and your action. That makes
Okay.
it to where like you have to use your action to do either focusing or move.
Yep, makes sense. Fatigue.
Fatigue has become way more common, it feels like.
Yep. Frightened. Penalty damage, but penalty. Incapacitated. Invisible, paralyzed, prone, restrained, sickened. Okay, that's cool. Oh, sickened have penalty to healing. That's funny.
So this is like essentially the witch's whole gig is to keep stacking on conditions through spells. So whereas like the wizard and the sorcerer get certain like they get discounts on mana spent for, you know, doing higher damage or doing whatever. The witch's whole gig is to like nobody else can stack on conditions like this can.
Mhm.
Like, whereas everybody else is having to focus on a spell to keep that one condition active, the witch just focuses on their hex, and they can like it acts as like a box that they can stack all these spell effects in.
Is it like multiple different creatures, or is it like you can stack them on one dude?
It is one guy in particular.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hate you in particular.
yeah. This is the
uh,
spite class. Yeah.
gotcha. You get a perk with prerequisite, train mysticism. Okay, spells. You learn 4 spells. You learn 1 other spell. Your maximum mana is equal to. So, am I correct? There's just like a list of spells, and you can just pick any of them.
Yeah. There's
Okay,
no class
cool.
restrictions or anything like that in Vagabond.
Mana equal to 4 times your witch level. Highest amount of mana you can spend. Hex. Okay. Choose for the effects of a spell. You can choose for the effects of a spell you cast, not the damage, to become continual. Gotcha.
That's like until you dismiss it.
Right. So, like if a spell like knocked prone, if a spell did this or did that,
Yeah, it's like if
like they
it's
can't stay.
burning. Yeah, like burning continual would be like they're on fire until you decide they're not on fire, like that kind of a thing.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
For one of the targets, until you use this feature on a different target. Okay. This does not require your focus, concentration. Yeah. The number of spells you can have. Okay. Ritualism, you finish a ritual that requires a scene as an action. Okay. This is like out of combat stuff.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's like if you the way that we handle like find familiar and vagabond is that it's always a ritual.
Yep.
It's not like a whatever. So like this is okay, you can instantly call your cat back, like that kind
Okay.
of thing.
Spin your action removed to become invisible. Oh, interesting. Things betwixt. I love that. That is a cool name.
It's a Dark Souls reference.
Okay. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like witches can't become invisible, but like no, they're merely betwixt 2 realms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That
That sold me on it.
and that was just like every time I kept looking up a hag in any fantasy game, it was like, yeah, they go invisible, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, I guess we have to have that here.
Really?
Like,
Ooh, I love this. Coventry. You can cast spells that near allies can cast. That is so cool. Oh, that is so cool. That is such a cool way to have like a coven. Like the dudes you're hanging out with is your coven. That is
yeah,
sick. That is
I
sick.
the wizard gets us like all these crazy spells and everything, and you're like, okay, cool, buddy, I get those too. Like, I love that.
Oh, that is sick. Would you mind if I
It
just took that? Like that is
go
so cool.
you go for it.
Oh man. I don't know how broken that would be. Uh uh yeah, that is too cool. Like you can just cast spells. Cause yeah, like if they have like their own spells, yeah, man, that is so cool. That is such a smart idea. That's such a
I
cool idea.
the thing for me was like I saw like I thought the better witch for 5e was the spirit's bard. And they have like that one feature that allows them to conduct like a seance or something like that.
Is that in
And
the
this
player's handbook or is that one of the later ones?
I think it's in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Yeah, don't worry because I mean the subclass was busted in half. But not because of this feature, but because like the mechanical wording on it needed a cleanup really bad.
Yeah. Okay. They're just sloppy.
Like yeah, but they have a feature that allows them to do like magical secrets from Lorebard, but it's a little bit more restrictive, but it's more flexible because they can change it as a ritual, whereas the spirit or the Lorebard has to wait for a long rest or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
love I love this art, by the way. This is solid art.
which
This guy,
oh yeah,
your
that's a Luthien, yeah.
your Vanguard. Yeah, it's
Oh,
cool.
that's yeah, so that one's Maxwell Polikoff. He's the guy I use for I've been using Maxwell for God, I think 3 years now.
What is since we're off topic just a little bit, and everybody watching, we'll get back on topic in just like 10 seconds. What is your like what is custom for like crediting artist. Like I've been putting it like near the art.
Uh,
What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, like I I think doing that is like really good intention. I was planning on doing that in Vagabond, but there's so much artwork that like
Hmm.
it there's so much artwork and trying to figure out like how to make it fit within the layout and everything. Um I haven't had an artist complain that
Okay.
they were not credited on the page. And in some cases, like it's the number one thing I never do is I don't remove watermark, right?
Okay.
Um, so like Maxwell has like his logo that he'll put on his artwork and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Like if I was under agreement with the artist, like, hey, you need to not have watermark on here, then I would put their name on every single page,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I don't have a problem with like a signature, but like sometimes I asked one of my artists like, hey, just send me a PNG of your signature so I can like move it at least. Cause like sometimes
Uh
it'll be like in some awkward spot. It'll be like halfway off the page just because of like how it crops and like, ah man, I
yeah.
don't want that. So so like
Yeah,
I'm trying to put
that's
it
fine.
like trying to put like the artist here or like on other sections, like
Yeah.
just nearby somewhere, you know. But I don't know. I don't know. All
Yeah,
right.
I just me personally, I've never had an artist complain about what I was doing. If they did, then like we could talk about all that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I've never encountered a hiccup.
Yeah, Coven. Man, that is such a cool idea.
Yeah, and I mean, so this could be a thing for you where like if flexibility is a power, like you consider flexibility and options to be a
Oh
power in your
yeah.
game,
Oh yeah.
then I would I would let me see here. Uh I would try to probably limit it a bit. Um I mean, you're the thing is right here, this is effectively like a doubling of the power, I think, right? Like, if we view flexibility as power, then I would think that this is a huge, huge spike.
S-
It is in Vagabond, and that's why they get it at 8th level.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it so like all of the classes have like such a cool idea by the way. Man. Like all the classes have like a list of abilities they can choose from. So if they choose this one, they can't choose that one. Right. So maybe Coven could be one of their things. Like
Gotcha.
if I don't have any other spellcasters in my party, I don't feel bad for not being able to use this because I'll just pick something else. But if I do, if I have a mage, I want to blast some dudes. That's so cool. That is so
I
cool.
I think yeah, I think even if you have one other caster in your party, this is the must pick up.
It might be like because like the witch would like they have their own cool spells. So like this is like if you're that kind of guy who wants all of the flexibility, this is definitely like a a cool thing. Like
There's
as far as added power and nimble, like it
yeah.
wouldn't count as like a full feature. This would be as strong as like a half feature probably. And with at the right
Oh,
table, it would be like incredibly good. And at the wrong table, like you know, the person just would never use it.
the other one that I would probably throw your way to check out is look up the perk Athame, Athame.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. These guys have something called a Athame or Athame or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
Athame. This is
yeah,
like the ritual dagger of witches.
perks. Yeah,
Um,
I just learned what that was like an hour ago. Um, so where do you have perks?
yeah, there's a heroes perk list.
Heroes.
Very, very bottom.
There it is. Cool. Um,
And this was if people wanted to make a Gish witch, like they wanted to make like an assassin roguish witch, this was like the way that they could do it.
you can conduct ritual scene tasks with a dagger maker. Athame until you connect with your enemy is a relic with a loyalty characteristic. And it can be used as a trinket for casting. Okay, so translate this into.
Okay. Loyalty means if I throw it to make an attack, it'll come back to my hand after the attack.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, yeah, like it's if you want to throw daggers around, that's yeah.
Oh, that is so rad.
and
Oh, oh man. All right, I'm gonna write that
you can
down.
you
Don't
if
you wouldn't hate me if I borrowed that, would you?
I offered it like
Oh man. Okay, so there is so this the shepherd has like a companion and like it's loyal. Like like I use all the descriptives, but like to have some cool word that it could just be like this means it always comes right back to you. That is so cool.
yeah
I could just say like
that
the shepherd's companion is loyal.
dude, that's the way I handle all the relics and vagabond. It's
Uh-huh.
all the relics have a tag, so it's like relic powers that they access. And the way that relics are working is it's not the relic that has a value, it's the power.
Uh-huh.
So the way that vagabond works is you can customize whatever relics you want to with the powers that I gave you.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, using stuff like this where it has the loyalty power.
Cool.
That's you I can make that for other items and say like if I were gonna make, I don't know, like Sunder or I say Sunder, Whelm from Dungeons and Dragons, it would be
Mhm.
a Warhammer with the loyalty characteristic that can cause difficult terrain one time per day. Like
Interesting. Uh-huh.
I'm trying to simplify the keyword expression, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. No, I love having a flavorful word for a thing like that and like immediately makes sense. Yeah, so cool. Cool, cool. I love that. All right, I
Yeah,
wrote that down. I wrote that down.
that's one of those things that I'm like the cinema of it is so dope.
Yep.
Like just it's the Kratos, Leviathan axe. I throw it and it comes back to me.
Yep.
But there's something like there's just something so sick about that minor like interaction that's like, oh, we love it.
Yeah, that is so cool. Always come back. Yeah, that's really cool. And if they have the ability to choose coven, then like I think I'm worried less about like what how many spells they have. So we've got
Yeah.
hex. Hex is bread and butter spell. Misery is mid damage debuff. Twitch is defensive. Blood cursed is haymaker. It's like a big haymaker spell. Frogify. It's like I want each spell to have like a purpose. Like this is the best
Yeah.
spell to cast in this situation. Crowd control. Okay, maybe one more. Oh, bloom. Yeah, healing one.
Yeah, to me the issue typically comes down to I tend to worry if a spell like this is why I don't like Vancian magic.
Mhm.
Vancian magic tends to be like this spell is useless except in this one situation, and then it's the only thing you ever do in that situation.
In
Like,
Advanced Magic for people listening is like when you have to like memorize certain spells, you only have access to those. Like you have to guess which spells you're gonna pick beforehand, right?
yeah, it's basically what 5e is operated off
Yep,
of.
yep, yep, yep.
They're
Yeah,
they're
I don't
more
like that.
or less moving away from it in a way.
Are
Um,
they okay?
it's not as restrictive as um, like in some ways, Shadow Dark is a little bit more restrictive in this way. Because like if you like you don't have to track your spell slot usage. You have to if you roll a 1, you forget the spell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like a version of Vancian magic, but it's
Gotcha.
pretty rough. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I'm gonna get caught up with chat real quick. Love conditions. Tin Man likes your condition stacking. Terry.
Hey, thank you.
Stack condition is always funny. Yeah, yeah. You keep adding condition rings and see less and less of the token. I don't ever really play VTTs, so but I can imagine that. Um, I had to come up with a special condition ring once because the player maxed out how bad of a time his PC was having. Oh, it looks like Terry really likes Coven. He says steal it, steal it now.
Hey.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, you guys definitely check out Vagabond. Like, I've only looked at like little bits and pieces, but like as so far, like every page has had some hot fire on it.
Thanks. And it's
Uh,
if they want to go check it out, we have the free Basic Heroes Handbook
oh, nice.
as a
Yeah, yeah. Check
PDF.
it out.
So
What's the link for that? Did you get
Um.
vagabond.com?
I wish.
Oh,
Yeah, and let me see here. Shopify. It's somewhere in here. Hang on. I know. I should just have this thing ready to go on like copy paste. Um,
uh, yeah.
and the thing that's been great is seeing like because whenever someone picks up the Basic Heroes Handbook,
Hmm.
um, I always get a notification. Hey, this person got it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then like within 2 hours, I see that they bought the core rulebook, and I'm like, ha 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 ha, gotcha. Like,
Nice, nice.
all right, I just sent it to you on Discord.
Okay. Copy. All right, I'm
And
gonna
we're trying to get
go and paste it
that
in
put to
chat.
print. So
Yep, yep. Oh, I copied the whole message. You guys know how to. You know how to.
nice.
All right. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spells. That might be enough. That might be enough things going on. If we come up with maybe one more, I think we'll be happy. So what do you so like thinking of a witch like a seer also, like what if one of the spells was
Mhm.
just like see, like see is fine, augury.
Um, which site? Oh god, if that's the
That's
thing
a
you like,
cool
okay,
name.
I'll send you over. You go look at the witch site perk on Vagabond.
Right, all right. I mean, while you're here,
Or
you might as
yeah,
well take a look
that
at.
yeah that or
Oh,
the
what is this,
medium perk.
Taryn?
Yeah, what?
What is this thing? This some sort
What
of
is the what?
fungal dude?
Oh yeah, that was one of the backers. One of the backers on the original campaign. One of the perks was like if you donated at a certain amount, we Maxwell did your character and put it in the game.
Gotcha,
And this was from a backer. Yeah, it was like
gotcha.
a odd fungal cursed assassin rogue, and I was like, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah, which site is cool? That sounds cool. Good. Good
that's like the
against.
more interaction side. Yeah, like if they're really big on scouting and things like that, or like illusions just happen to come up all the time.
Yeah,
Maybe that's pretty good, but yeah, that's like I was trying to think of more exploration type features for like
yeah.
a witch that weren't so like it's kind of easy to nail down their combat, like what they're going to be doing in combat.
Mhm.
But whenever it comes to like a dungeon delve, it was always like, what, like, where's the oomph and
Mhm.
stuff like that was where it really felt like it's saying,
Yeah, so maybe it's enough. So like maybe the assess thing, because like maybe they're not like quick at assessing, but like while they're between encounters, like not in combat, they're good at like figuring things out. Uncover info about monsters or yeah. So we have like the rogue and the hunter are really good with assessing, like sizing up creatures like in the middle of combat. But I
mm,
think the witch is maybe like you got to cut open a chicken and look at the liver, that kind of thing. That takes time.
yeah,
You can't do that while someone's breathing down your neck. Okay.
uh, okay, yeah, like reading the bones style,
Yeah. That's what we have it. I've got it. Consult the bones as
yeah,
their thing. So yeah, maybe that'll be like their flavorful adventuring thing. Yeah. All right. So I like that. I like all of that. So they have so for their custom abilities that they have, I think we're gonna call them mystic marks, because that's what they called them in Fairy in this other project. Well, they called something else that, but I like that name, so I'm gonna use that name since we're supposed to be. We're supposedly making a conversion of this. Foresee, witness, yeah. Shadow Dark spellcasting feels less restrictive. You don't use a spell if you succeed on casting. And with luck tokens, you can reroll once. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'd love someone to run a Shadow Dark campaign or a one shot for me sometime. I'd love that.
you said Shadow Dark?
Huh?
Did you say Shadow Dark?
Yeah, Shadow Dark. I mean, like, I'm
Mm,
pretty much down for like anybody running anything for me, but I'd love to try Shadow Dark.
yeah, like Shadow Dark is just one of those things where it's like I think a lot of 5e people that try it tend to feel this like click that they're like, oh wait, I can like just feel the genre shift. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's better at handling dungeon crawls than 5e, and like it doesn't feel unfamiliar to people that play 5e.
Okay.
So I think it's a better dungeon crawl engine, which like
Okay.
I think a lot of people that are like I got into 5e because of Critical Role, um I think they start to feel a sense of like, ooh, this is there is a different type of experience here I wasn't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out it's just classic D&D in a way.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I honestly I don't really like dungeon delving in 5e. Kind of don't enjoy it. I don't like running it. I don't like anything about it really.
Like, I don't think that they give you enough procedure to make it interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of always been where my mindset was at with it. Like everywhere else, there's more of a game to be played with the dungeon delve
Yeah.
that like 5e just doesn't really hit. And yeah,
Okay, so let's come up with some cool ideas for what are the different abilities. Boost a hex. Boost a spell they know. Could boost a spell they know. Something with their athame. Maybe it's like one their Mr. Mark they can choose an athame. I like calling it an athame because that sounds cooler, and that's how
I
my
mean I might not be correct on the
no
pronunciation.
I looked it up.
Oh,
That's all.
okay.
At least that one person who pronounced it differently. But whatever. Choose an athame. All right, so I'm gonna go to. So I do have a document that the guys from Fairy sent me, and they have a list of like different cool things. So maybe we can actually use some of the things that we're supposed to be using for this conversion. All right. So they have Witch's Coven, Coven Familiar, Cunning Spellcraft. Whenever you diminish a spell, you can ignore one of the conditions. Ooh, that's cool. So you can diminish a spell for free. That's kind of neat. Like once per X, like probably not just all the time. Let's see, sigils, greater sigils. Come to the hunt. A shuck. What is a shuck?
Like an
witch's shuck.
item, or are they
Like a witch's shuck.
witches shuck? I've never heard of that.
A black
Oh,
dog. Oh. Okay.
wait, I'm seeing that it's a doll.
You what?
It's a corn shuck doll.
Oh. Like I've
I've
heard of
never heard
corn.
of
It's
that.
a corn husk doll. Like you shuck corn. A shuck is a verb with a husk. You shuck a husk.
Huh.
Yeah, I think this is a dog, like from folklore. Shuck folklore.
Oh yeah,
There's
okay. I see. Like, yeah, a black shuck. Okay.
yeah. Okay. That's cool. Okay, so let's take a look at their warts. Sigils. Sigil of division. You can spend. You can like divide a spell into. I think that's a little bit too fiddly. Sigil of
Oh, what?
alteration.
Yeah. Have you looked at the art of like a black shuck dog?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty spooky, man.
It's like a cycloptic hypno dog. I'm like, what?
Oh
This
no,
is
this one
awesome.
has two eyes. Oh yeah, I see one with. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
lovely.
I love it as the cyclops. It's just so like, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. Yeah, yeah. Predators shouldn't have just one eye like that. That doesn't make sense.
I guess, but it looks cool. Like that's where the fantasy's hitting for me. I'm like, oh yeah.
You see this one? I mean, this one's pretty spicy. Like this one is just cool. Like I wouldn't mess with that.
Yeah, a lot of it just kind of looks like. Otherwise, it's like a black dog to me. Where like, I mean, in like a lot of the myths about like the crossroads and everything like that, like the black dog, hellhound, hound of ill
Mhm.
omen, or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whereas like if there's something like different and it's like, oh, it's a hypnotic dog. Okay, cool. What does it look like? Exactly like a black dog. I'm like, okay, but
Picture in
like,
your mind a dog that's black.
yeah, maybe I'm just like I've got some sort of, it resonates with me because of the one eye thing. All right,
Like
maybe
this
that's
one,
it.
like this one is cool. This one is cool. Like giving him a little bit of spice.
Yeah.
I think like a Misty. Its abilities and stuff I think matter. Um, Shadow Dark is amazing for new players who have never played TTRPG or ran a couple of sessions with a few friends. They're hooked. You know what else is really good? Yeah, I can't speak to Shadow Dark, so I don't know. I don't dig dungeon delves normally. My brain doesn't click with the ecology and purpose of sprawling built dungeons and ruins such. Yeah, a lot of times it's like ruins that are like repurposed for different things.
There's
What were we looking? Oh yeah,
yeah,
we were looking at
the shuck or what?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sigil of Alteration. If spell has any effect, you can spin additional thing to change the shape to a cone, a line, or a sphere. Oh, that's interesting. Change the shape of a spell. It's like these are cool ideas, but like could so easily break things to where like you only ever pick this one, you only ever use it with this one spell. Like I'm okay with like a little bit broken. Like, oh, this is cool, surprising thing, but like a thing where a spell like if it's a line instead of a cone, like all of a sudden it's like super busted.
Yeah, I also just don't really know how it hits the fantasy of a witch for me.
Yeah.
Maybe like maybe there's just something I'm not totally hitting, but yeah.
Yeah. Sigil of Vulnerability. When you cast a spell that targets one or more creatures, you can spin additional Mystic Mark to reduce a creature's AC by 1. Okay, so that's kind of a cool idea. So we'll have to tweak it. Sigil of creatures that are afraid of you. Creatures that are afraid of you have their armor reduced by 1 step. Okay, or attacks them. Attacks against them with advantage. That might be cool. I'll put a question mark here since I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. Okay, Sigil of Vulnerability. That's cool. Sigil of Slowing. When you cast a spell that targets one or more creatures, you can spin. Okay, reduce the creature's speed by 10 feet. So I want to be careful about that kind of stuff. Sigil of Seance, because I like as a GM, I don't want to remember who has regular speed, who has half speed, who has this speed, who has that speed. You know,
Yeah.
a bunch of different things. Like great for a video game, not great at the table. If a spell has an area effect, you can spend a mark to fill the space with silence. Oh, interesting. Until your next turn, while maintaining concentration, creatures in the area are deafened while entirely residing. Casting a spell. Okay, casting a spell is impossible here. I don't think I like that one. Sigil of Protection. If you cast a spell that targets an ally, you can burn additional Misty Mark to protect them until the end of your next turn. The target gains some benefit. It says benefit is sanctuary spell. What is a sanctuary spell? Like someone has
It's
to make a save or something?
yeah, they have to like make a wisdom save before they can hit or target something with an attacker.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I was trying to remember. I remember that being one of my favorite things that like they did with, I think it was like Open Hand Monk, where it was like you just get the perks of this while you're what is it? Like until you damage another creature. And it was like, oh, okay, I like the pacifist idea.
Mm-hmm.
But basically what it always was like that first shot against you was the thing that like they have to make the save against, and then otherwise you just don't have a feature. And it's like it isn't really yeah, but
Okay, so Sigil Protection, I'm just sort of like broadening it, casting a spell, and like gives them some defensive boons. So what is it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Sigil of Fortune. When you cast a spell, it requires a save. You can gamble on this spell's bounty. The effective creature gains a bonus to their saving throw against the spell. So they gain a bonus equal to a d4, d6, so up to a d12. If they still fail, then they take necrotic damage equal to 3 times the chosen die. Oh, that's interesting. That's spicy. It's a cool mechanic. Oh, I would like to see that as like a sort of a more a core mechanic rather than like just like something you could do sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing. Do you have this up on a screen over there?
I don't. I
Oh,
asked them if I could share the PDF as I was like making it this, and he was like, "Oh, let me get back to you." So like, yeah,
gotcha,
I don't want
gotcha.
to. Yeah, I don't want to share
One of
that.
those situations. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just one guy; it's like a couple of guys, so they have to like talk with each other. So like, I don't blame them. You know, like,
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
yeah. You definitely got to be careful. So, so this was if you're casting a spell that requires a save, you can allow the enemy to roll an additional like from a d4 to a d12, and if they still fail, then they take 3 times that much damage. Which is cool. Like it's sort of like what is it? Great weapon fighter, great weapon master, sharpshooter. Like whatever those abilities are. Like you lower your chance to hit in exchange for the potential of additional damage. That's kind of fun. That's kind of cool. I don't know that I want that much fiddliness going on.
Yeah, that's kind of the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, this sounds a lot, but
Yeah.
that's 5e design has kind of gone in that direction these days, anyways.
Yeah, it's exhausting to just read like a single class. Sigil of Journey. When you cast a spell that targets a single creature, has a range of single. Okay. Shift yourself through the magic. You immediately teleport to a space you can see. Okay, that's kind of cool. Teleport. Teleport. That's cool. Teleport around somehow. We'll figure it out. Cool. Sigil of Reply. Oh, that's interesting. Like, it's just a cool name. We got spell. Until the end of your next turn, we maintain blah 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 blah. Like, there's like 3 words for every word that need 5 words for every word that needs to be there.
Yeah.
Any affected creature that hits you or you're familiar with an attack takes necrotic damage. That's kind of cool. Sort of like sigil. I'd call it something like Sigil of Thorns.
Yeah, that's usually like I like the thematic of the idea of like spike damage.
Yep.
I have like there's a perk about like a briar healer where like and vagabond well while you're healing something, if something else damages it, it takes damage.
Yeah.
I like the idea of thorns. I haven't really seen it happen a whole lot other than like Armor of Agathis in 5e.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea so much, and I'd like to see it happen more.
Yeah, we have a cool like a flame shield type of thing, flame barrier. Like melee attackers against you take keys, so like what like your biggest stat basically like 3, 4, 5 damage, and then they gain
Yeah.
this condition. So I think that kind of thing is pretty cool. Sigil of Thorns, yeah, Sigil of Thorns. I think Sigil of Thorns feels like a cooler witchy thing.
Yeah.
But these guys are they're Brits, so they're like they have gone like deep into the lore. So I'm sure like Sigil of Reply is like the correct thing in the folklore or whatever. But when you catch,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, like this was the thing for me. Whenever I was originally making my witch, I so there's a creator with Fistful of Crits named Freya Gill, and
His name is Fistful of Crits.
the company name is called Fistful of Crits.
Oh, that's such an awesome name.
And Freya Gill is like one of their main artists and everything. But I'd known Freya from interacting on Twitter and stuff like that. And then whenever I put out a call, I was like, "Hey, I'd like to just not piss off a bunch of witches whenever I was making this. So if there's anybody that can do a consult for me, I'd love to have you."
Okay.
So Freya did the consult. And it was cool because it was just like reading through it to make sure like yeah, okay, I can see where this comes from. This
Yeah.
is like the, more so also just kind of trying to make sure I'm not stepping in something I'm not supposed to. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Like for me, like cleric is like an actual religious title. So, um,
it can be tricky.
yeah.
Like
So like
it,
yeah,
yeah,
witch. Yeah, like I might not even call it witch. I might open up a thesaurus and like what are some other cool names, other than witch. But like that's sort of what we're going for right now.
yeah. I think it's been pretty much agreed that like witch is fine, but like if you were to get into like Wiccan, that defines it more,
Yeah, no,
right?
no.
Like that's
That's a trademark name.
yeah,
We can say cola, but we can't say Pepsi.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly right.
Sigil of Bond. When you cast a spell that targets only you, um, grant your familiar the benefits of the spell also. Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't. So in our version, familiar is not gonna be that much of a big core thing. It's gonna be like a little boon and like a cool little bud to have outside of combat. But I think that's it. Sigil of Hound. Cast a spell that targets a single ally. They gain advantage on the first attack they make on their turn. Sigil of Root. If a spell has an area of effect and is on solid ground or water, you can spend a mark to fill the area with tingling roots and plant life until the end of your next turn, or while you maintain concentration on the spell. The ground or water becomes difficult. Yeah, it's some of the difficult terrain. They're like a debuffer. Make difficult terrain somehow. So like I'm sort of taking the names of some of them. I'm just taking the vibes of some of the cool ones, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many of these do we want? How many of these do we want? Let's go to the shepherd. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She has 8. So I think we want at least 8. Like 8, 9, 10 is probably going to be a good number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, yeah, so maybe one more. Maybe one more. And then we'll call it good. We can start cooking on what each of these means. Ooh, sigil of spore. It's just poisoned. Creatures are also poisoned. Okay, that's not that cool. Sigil of bloom. Walking speeds increase by 10 feet. Okay, that's fine. Sigil of pox. I like that one. Infuse a curse sickness into the spell's magic until the next turn while you maintain concentration. Creatures that fail their save against spell, they can't take reactions. No. Sigil of Doom. When you cast a spell, you burn. Okay, blah blah blah. Until the start of your next turn, the first time the target creature takes damage, each turn they take additional necrotic damage equal to your Wisdom modifier. So for me, I don't like ongoing effects like that. I'd rather it just be like one big thing. So like whenever players at my table used to like pick, was it Acid Arrow, Melf's Acid Arrow? Like you do a thing and then later you do another thing. I just roll the dice now. We'll just do it all now. Save myself a little bit of mental bandwidth. So Sigil of Doom is just is such a cool thing.
Drop D metal.
Yeah, it's such a cool sounding thing. Something really bad. So what I'm thinking, concentration.
And I'll be right back.
Yeah, concentration. Whenever you are attacked, you take max damage instead of rolling. Okay, so it could be something like this. So like super high risk, super high reward. Target one, mark one creature with doom. Both of you deal max damage against. Both of you deal max damage against each other. I think that would be kind of cool. I'll make it a question mark since I'm not sure. Sigil of Rot. That sounds sweet. Mm. Maybe sigil of rot. Roll a d4. Reduce damage they. Okay, so something like this would be cool, but fiddly. A lot of math. So this would like greatly increase every mathematical operation surrounding that creature. Sigil of rot. So we can make it so if it was here's how we can balance it to make it a little bit cooler. And I'll catch up with let's catch up with the chat. Flying broom has got people to say yeah, you're right. We had that in here somewhere already. Flying broom. Yeah, broom fly. There it is. Broom. Broom flying. Okay, so sigil of rot. So something with a really minor effect. Yeah, something with a really minor effect has to apply a bunch for it to matter. If we only wanted to apply once or twice, then it has to be a big effect. Key D20. Let's do key D20. That's probably gonna be too many. That's probably gonna be too many. Re-sigil. I like the abilities that drop a die right on the table to track it until it's gone next to a creature or something. A re-sigil. Yeah. So we could like 1d20 reduce the next damage they cause by that much, or increase the next damage they take by that much. Like something like that would be like same flavor, way easier to do. Okay, Sigil of Rot. It's not going to be 1d20 exactly. It's going to be something along there. Derek Johnson, how do you feel about having evil races in a TTRPG? I'm neutral. I understand people's perspective, but sometimes it's just like, okay, I thought usually I make orcs spirits of evil races. I don't know, like whatever your table wants. I know people can be super duper sensitive about that kind of thing. So there's nothing like that built into Nimble. There's definitely like bad goblins, but like there's no like hey, maybe not all goblins are bad, whatever. Like, but these goblins that you're fighting in this adventure, these are super evil. So like I'm fine saying stuff like that. Like these particular dorks, like super duper bad. Like you don't have to feel bad about beating them. Like they'll definitely take your lunch. So I'm not really much of a world builder kind of person where I care a whole lot about that kind of thing. But if it's something that someone at your table is getting bent out of shape about or is sensitive about, like be cool. Be cool. Okay. So these are our mystic marks, our special abilities things. I think we have enough. Toil and trouble. Something that I really like is bone curse. I think is one of the MCDM things, they have brittle bone curse, and then I really liked, I had this idea last night as I couldn't sleep, curse of myopia, like it reduces the range of sight of like a ranged character.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah. Something like that would be cool. Brittle bone curse. I think it was in the Flea Mortals book. That was like super cool. Have you looked much into the Flea Mortals book?
No, it's too like for me like the mechanics and stuff. I think they're really trying to go for like video gamey kind of boss feel, which is it's fine, but I tend to think that more often than not, whenever I'm a GM, I'm not like I'm not trying to run a huge simulation engine with the monster, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. The idea, like they sold it as like, oh, you could just look at the stat block and just do what it says. Like you don't have to like read it ahead of time. I personally, like, maybe it's just because I'm dumb, but personally I find it to be the opposite. Like they are some of the best, most balanced like stat blocks, like tightly designed, well balanced, like flavorful like things like I've ever seen. But at
Mm,
the same time, like every creature is so complicated that I don't think I've never ran any of the legendary monsters correctly. I don't know that I've even ran like any of the like the regular monsters correctly. Like they're so complex. And maybe it's just a me thing. Um, but it's an incredibly good book. Incredibly good book. Like the good ideas per page is like off the charts. But in
yeah.
this they have Goblin Curse Spitter, and they have a cantrip called Brittle Bone Hex. The Curse Spitter chooses one creature they can see within 60 feet of them. Target's bones are racked with pain until the end of their next turn. The first time the target willingly moves or uses an action, a bonus action or reaction before then, they must succeed on a DC 12 Constitution saving throw or take 2d8 necrotic damage. Really cool. Really cool idea. I use level 5 and astigmatism. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I think so that the name is cool, but there's too many things going on. But I think some sort of curse or something to like uh, against ranged dudes, half their range, like half their vision. Like the range of their, like if they have a bow, they can only attack from like range 4 instead of range 8. Like that kind of, like you're making them move closer to you. That's pretty cool. And this could be like an area.
Yeah, the idea of cursing something with nearsight's kind of cool. Like nearsightedness.
Yep. Joke here. My Discord name is Myopic Mickey. Oh, okay. One of my favorite animators from back in the day. What was his name? Lango? Keith Lango, I think. Yeah, he's an old animator, but he made this. I think he he made this animation called like the blessings of myopia or something like that. Like, what in the world is myopia? So that's where I learned the name from. But like he spent like I don't know how much time on this it was computer animation, and then like his hard drive died, like lost everything. So it's
Yeah.
just like just an absolutely heartbreaking thing. But he was a really good animator. He's a really good animator. Anyway, that's something I know. Half their vision, half their range. Range. That's cool. What was that? Wasn't there a M. Night Shyamalan movie about the guy who had brittle bones?
Glass.
Unbreakable? Yeah, the dude was
I,
Glass, right? Wasn't that his name?
oh wait, am I Shyamalan? Yeah, there was a okay, so there was a separate movie called Glass that
Oh,
was
was
a
it?
yeah, it was a one of those hidden sequels or whatever to that he
Oh,
like
okay. I didn't know
yeah.
that. Oh yeah, that dude. Yeah, the dude. Okay. Um, Mr. Glass was the guy in it. Okay. I do like the idea of like brittle bones curse, but I also don't like the idea of tracking, like having to remember movement and stuff. So maybe we won't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got something I am going to send your way. Okay. So this is what I've been working on the last couple days.
Ooh, you getting some secret
And
stuff?
yeah, I decided so my system neutral port people ask if they could cover it for a YouTube channel or a YouTube video. So I was like, all right, cool.
Mhm.
Um, so I decided I originally did White Plume Mountain. That's like my favorite classic dungeon. It's just like a crazy, crazy fun house.
Yeah.
And this is all pre-concept. I just started kind of typing and everything. Um, but I decided that this next year, early on, I've got another one I want to do. There we go. I'm currently working on converting Keep on the Borderlands over to
Mhm.
system neutral.
Okay.
Um, and
Um,
trying, yeah.
I think Gnarled Monster did a cool rework of that.
Gnarled Monster did like a continuation and expansion.
Is that what it was? Okay. I have it. I haven't
Yeah,
really read it yet.
that cover is like something I threw together with a bunch of abstract stuff in Photoshop. So that is
For
just
sure.
like not it. Um, I haven't commissioned anything on this so far. It's literally like I met with a cartographer and we're gonna work on putting this together. But it's the format is the kind of thing that
Mhm.
Wizards of the Coast can't really do,
Yeah.
and this has been super helpful for people in just like cleanly understanding what's happening in these. So it's like I'm hoping that this is an easier guide to if I want to run Keeping the Borderlands, no matter what the system is, I can do it extremely quickly.
Okay. Is
So
this like a
yeah,
zine?
it'll be a zine. The intent is probably to get it as like below a 50-page zine.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, the Caves of Chaos are going to be its own. I think the Caves of Chaos are going to probably be about 30 of the 50-page count.
Seriously?
But
Oh man.
it's a big. I mean, it's
That
not that it's a mega dungeon, but it's
uh-huh.
one of those dungeons that you're meant to like go in. You take out this section, you go back to civilization. You come back the next day, take out this other side, find out some other
Gotcha.
stuff has
Okay.
grown back. It's yeah.
That's like 15 one shots. Like in like my framework and like in how I think about these. Like a page should be like I should be able to run a whole adventure on a page.
Yeah, like an adventure, right? This is kind of like a mini campaign setting.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like the Borderlands are a like other than just the Caves of Chaos, there's about like 8 different locations that like they're kind of seeded random encounters in a way.
Mhm.
Like I know if I go to the swamp, I'm gonna run into the lizard men, or there are raiders that are to the south. Like these are pre-seeded, but they're not like big expanded kind of sections. They're like literally a little paragraph and what the players can find there, and then that's
Mhm.
it. Like that's you move on. Um, but yeah, no, the Caves of Chaos are like it's not like one giant dungeon. It's like 8 different little dungeon segments,
Mhm.
which is kind of cool because you get a lot of experience, like especially for newer GMs, you get a lot of experience running a bunch of small dungeon segments.
That's cool.
And yeah, I really like the idea of it as like an intro to dungeon mastering.
Yeah. Um cool. So I'm thinking about some weird cool things I think for this witch.
Okay.
I'm just sort of thinking out loud. What if they can't upcast? Right. What if they can't upcast? It's like they only downcast. So what if they only downcast? Or at least maybe it's not they can't upcast, it's just like their spells don't have an upcast.
So the thing that's going to make them stronger as they keep scaling is what?
Yeah, so this cantrip every 5 levels. Uh mm, so this is what I'm thinking. So this could be like 1d6 plus level damage, right? So something like that. So as they level up, their damage automatically increases. Um, so that the diminution thing where like you're rolling with advantage like actually really matter or rolling with disadvantage like actually matters. And then like their bigger spells, like the bigger spells, like the smaller like weaker spells that don't cost much mana, they might use like a D4 or D6 because they're gonna miss a lot more often if you're trying to cheap out on them. Like the really big spells that you don't want to miss, like you could maybe roll like a D10 or D12. So you're highly unlikely to you're unlikely to hit a 1 on those. I think that's a cool thing. I think that's a really cool. It's a really cool mechanic. Like every spell scales well because a lot of them are condition based, and the stronger the monster, the stronger the conditions are against that monster. And if it's like Twitch Curse, like that doesn't need to scale, right? Because your allies are the ones causing the damage. And your allies' damage is scaling already. Haymaker, like this Blood Curse one, that doesn't need to scale because like the monster himself is scaling. Frogify doesn't need to scale because like the stronger monster you turn into a frog, the more powerful that is. Ooh. So we only need to think of a couple of ways to make it work. So so what if all of the witch's spells were tier 3? What if all of the witch's spells were tier 3 or something like that? And as you level up, you could pick one of the spells. Like you gain a level, you pick a new spell. You gain a level, you pick a new spell. That kind of thing might be cool.
Yeah. What's their witch doing in terms of are they getting a standard spell slot progression?
They have a weird thing. I like it. It's super. Basically, like they have mystic marks and like you can like they don't use spell slots. They use basically like sort of like a mana system that spellcasters already have in Nimble. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so they can cast flexibly already. I think this is super interesting. So if you can just choose any of the spells, then they all do have to have like roughly the same power level. Otherwise, you'll just pick the strongest one first, obviously. Is that a problem though? Maybe that's not a problem. Maybe that isn't a problem. How you guys doing in chat? I guess I have the same tracker problem though. Do monsters cast spells in Nimble? Sometimes it not really. Not really. Like if you're using any 5e monster, then yeah, maybe, but usually just like, roll a d8. I know it's comparable with 5e, but do you plan to make any adventures for Nimble in the future? Yeah. There's actually a bunch of adventures in the in the books already. There's a whole mess of them. Diminution, thesaurus drops incoming, weak, hollowed, drained, rushed, depleted. I like hollow. Hollow is such a cool word. Humble. Thanks, Kaspang. Hollow. They can hollow cast. That is spicy. I do like diminution. It's hard to say, but it's a cool little thing. Like I don't know. Maybe if the guys at that came up with the witch initially, if they don't want me using any of the things, maybe we can like rename things and stuff. But if they don't, if they want me to keep the connections, then maybe we will.
Yeah, so this is a partnership thing through like BackerKit. You guys did like a collab and
Yep. Yeah,
Cool.
BackerKit set us up. They made the introduction, and like we just happened to be running a campaign at the same time. Just
Right
as the
on,
feature.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and 32%. So a third of the people who backed Fairy also backed Nimble.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is really good.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I
that's how much of a bump it made.
yeah, I started mine at the same time that Foundry started Ember.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, because I started talks with them, and it was just like, hey, okay, cool. Well, we have Foundry integration. You guys throw a shout out over here. I'll do one over on my YouTube channel. And like that stuff is fun, but I do like the idea of like, no, we're gonna do something for the game, even if it's not like this is going in our book. There's like a fun little like, haha, get it? Like
Yeah, you get a
yeah.
bonus if you back both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
it's
that's
if
cool.
you back both of them.
Yep, yep. If you back both Fairy and Nimble,
Oh.
everybody gets this. And it's the backer kit left it up to us if you know what it was, but like they had this cool class, and I was like, hey, why don't I just make a Nimble version of that? Because I foolishly thought it wouldn't
Right.
take very long.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's a fun collab idea.
Yeah, it's been really powerful, really cool way. And a lot of people. So Greg says I actually backed Fairy because of the integration with the Nimble. Yeah, a lot of people did. A lot of people did. I think they probably got a bigger bump from Nimble than I got, but like I still got like a lot of people who had never heard of Nimble who backed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I always look at that as like, hey, it didn't cost me anything and they still brought over some help. Like,
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah. Um. Okay. So these spells. So I think I'm not going to do like a whole choose your spells. I think they're just going to get these spells. I think I'm making the executive decision. They're just going to get these spells. Um. You unlock tier. Okay, so we're not going to. You unlock tier 1 and 2. There we go. You unlock tier 1 and 2 witch spells.
Time creating crossover content, but for a TTRPG project especially, I really think the integration was a great idea for both teams. Yeah, like the time though, like it's usually always worth it because like I mean if it takes me what 3 hours to make a class and like it brought in, I don't know, 3 grand with the integration. That's still like $1,000 an hour. That's great. So like,
Yeah. Definitely taken more than 3 hours, but yeah. And then like
yeah.
I paid for art and I have to pay for printing and all that.
Oh, fair. Oh, wait. So this is getting printed.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's getting printed. I'm printing a few of them, like just 1,000 or so. Um, but I'm not sure how I'm going to distribute them. Because like right now it's only going to people who back both, so it's only going to them. And then later I'll talk with the guys about it. Brennan, I think we're just doing a fight. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what you guys want to do. We're doing some playtesting tonight. How many total classes do you have so far? 10, I think, and then a bunch of extra story-based subclasses, which are sort of like almost like their own class. All right, so let's get back to cooking on this. I unlocked tier 1 and 2 witch spells. Witch spells?
Oh,
Witch spells. Yeah, what's up?
and I actually just had a delivery show up, and I need to go and get all that put together. But
Cool.
good hanging
All right,
with
man.
you, man.
All right, thanks for hanging out. See you.
All right, later, Evan.
It's always good hanging out with a professor. Professor Indestructible Boy. Tell me, but I do want to keep the project. So yeah, this is something we talked about before. This is not project creep. This is so the witch class was it was on my list already. This was the first promise before any stretch goals of any kind. So this it just happens to be coming last. So this is not project scope creep or anything like that. This was planned even before the backer kit campaign even launched. So this was always planned. Just so you know. What software you use to edit this? This is InDesign. This is InDesign. I don't know that I'd recommend it a whole lot. It keeps crashing on me. It was crashing on me like over and over and over again yesterday. You unlock tier 1 and 2 witch spells. Okay, so let's make a new spread. Make a new spread. So I don't know that I recommend it, but it is sort of the industry standard for doing any kind of print layout and stuff. You guys, if we were to change the name of the class, Enchantress. Like Enchantress is cool. Enchantress is cool. Or maybe just Enchanter. Circe? What is that? Isn't that a name? The daughter of Helios. Okay, yeah, that is like a person. Yep, using Rimby. Is there a chance maybe in the future after this is settled on the books and this and Artificer could be add-ons? Yeah, so if I ever make an Artificer, I do have some art for it already. So if I ever do make an Artificer, then yes, that would be something that I can just have a zine made or have a PDF and like yeah, you can get that later if you want to. Yes, absolutely. You got lots of Artificer ideas? Cool, me too. But I have to tell myself I can't think about them yet. I have to go like la 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 whenever I start thinking about them. Okay, so I like all of these. Evoker, ooh, Evoker's cool. It's not really a Evoker. I think it might have to be like a new word, like Shadowmancer, Oathsworn, Songweaver. It's gonna have to be something like that if we do change it from Witch. Or to be something like a hedge mage or country. Healer. Like it's not really country healer, or it's like it's something evoking that kind of thing. Curse Spitter is cool. Hex Mage. Like all of those I think are pretty sweet. Except for Country Healer, but that's more of a vibes thing. Thaumatist? I don't know. Warmonger? Warmonger? Definitely not Warmonger. Okay, so let's, I think making, give me one sec. Ooh, yeah, let's actually grab, I was trying to, so before we started, I was trying to grab this art. Let's turn that off. Let's grab this art, copy. Let's see if I can paste it without crashing anything. Yeah. Let's undo that, delete that, paste that. It's not the right way. And I need to, can I change the color? Can I change the color view? Cannot. So, I wish I knew how to use Illustrator better, but alas. Alas and anon. There we go. So make it black. Then I think we can like make some of these yellow. Maybe just that. Maybe just this middle piece yellow. Recolor. How do I recolor one thing? It's like this. Does anybody know how to use Illustrator? Ooh, there we go. We got there. So let's undo this. So I'm gonna grab this color, open that up, sample the color. I'm sure this is not the best way to do this. So now, paste that color in there. There we go. So we got the right color now. All right, so let's grab that. Grab that, copy, delete, pasta. Cool. There we go. I think that's cool. I don't know if we're gonna stick with that art, but that's kind of cool stand-in art for a little witchy class. Maybe it needs to be. I don't know. We'll see. All right, I'll keep messing with that later. Maven, Mavin means expert. Curse Maven. I think we need to keep cooking. Okay, so I think going to like a let's go here just for a sec so I can open up something new thing. So I think the stop. Okay, so let's go to level 1 equals this plus 1. Okay, so here we have hex. Level 2 looks cool for now. Yeah, it's cool enough now. There are some other cool ones here. Ooh, I kind of like this one. I like this one and this one. Like those two are pretty sweet. Those two are pretty sweet. And this is just stock art. This is stock art, if anybody's wondering. Okay, so we get hex at level 1. What else do we get? So that's all we get at level 1. Level 2, we get misery. Let's get misery and misery, twitch, curse, and mana. Mana and diminution. All right. I'm just gonna save it because I compulsively hit Command S to save. Because what's the theme for your witch? They know their spells? Are they good from a patron? No patron. They are studied themselves. Yeah, no. Yeah, yeah. This witch is more of like a hedge mage, someone who lives in a village and like heals people for fun and like curses their enemies, just for funsies. Like not a necromancer, but someone who can do some cool stuff. All right, so let's add Toad, Curse, Bloom. And then we'll have Mystic Mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 is going to be enough. And then key stat increase. So I'm just trying to get a sense of like how many things we need. Basically, the way Luke Skywalker's family referred to Obi-Wan. Yeah. Did they say did they call him a witch or something like that? I don't know. I agree, Matt, but explain also. Ah, yeah, yeah. Oracle? Yeah, Oracle's cool. Where's their names? Oh, there it is. Maybe just something like generic, like Mystic. Subclass. Okay, so level 3, you get subclass. All right, so let's scooch all these guys over here. So these are all possibilities. Sorry. Level 19. We've got that. And level 20. Level 4, get a key stat increase. So we'll put it over here. Because generally, like a stat increase is not all you get. It's like you sort of get that in addition to some other thing. Level 4, level 8, level 12, level 16. That's it. Okay. So the levels where they get a subclass thing, generally is pretty good. It's generally is quite good. So they don't need anything that level. At level 4, you get a Mystic Mark. Sage, yeah, Sage is not bad. Sage makes me think of like Old Man, or like the Leaf. Hey, Greg. Evan, do you have a notebook full of out of scope ideas for Nimble? Yeah, sort of. Do you think post Nimble or yeah, possibly. I've definitely been burning the candle at both ends. So I'm gonna take a step back for just a bit once everything is done, and then depending on how long it takes for me to get the itch again, yeah. I enjoy it too much for there to not be more, but how much more? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see how shipping goes and all the other stuff. So again, I think mana diminution is going to be a first level thing. I think it has to be. Otherwise, it's just like a little bit too weird. Pretty sweet to finally be here at the finish line with all you. Time for Evan to start a Kickstarter. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. My wife will not allow me to say that, though. She won't allow me to say that word. Can't say. But each crowdfunder I've done, I've learned a lot. So the next one, if there is a next one, would definitely be much further along before it's launched. I thought I was at 95% already, but when I launched it, then I realized I was at like 30%. Yeah, there's so much I want to stick in all of these levels. So we also have we have the familiar that we want to add in. But we do have to spread it out. Levels 5 and level 10 is usually like a big damaging thing. Did you get the proofs on nimble dice? If so, how they turn out? Yeah, they turn out pretty good. We do have them. Yep, they turn out pretty good. There were some minor modifications that were made since these were sent, but here's the D12. So like the 12 is, the highest face is like reversed, and the lowest face is empty. And then the D4s are these prismatic shape, which is much easier to roll and pick up, and then the one's face is empty, and the highest face is like a shiny gold. So we have that. The only comment that I had was the D8s were like a little bit small. I think they're fixing those. Let me see if I have any other like D8s. I don't think I have any other D8s here. Oh, here's a D8. So here's like a regular, like a Chessex D8. And here is the one that we got back. So it's actually hard to tell. But they feel small. They feel small in hand, like dainty. And the weight, like here's a D6, like comparing it to the D6, like the D8 is like much smaller. It's really harder than the D8 is much smaller than like the D6. It's just like much more dainty. So it felt a little bit small. But I think they're fixing that. I think Josh Strawn's been busy, so I haven't chatted with him recently. Yeah. I think in the future, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to. So the dice. So like I didn't get any money from any of the stuff that from the backer kit extra dice thing. So that's all going to Josh Strawn to support them, him and his wife. But in the future, I would like to have dice available at a more affordable price, Matt. So if you're thinking about it, maybe like no, get an extra set if you want. But I would like to make another set, fixes all the problems that all the things that I wanted to have. So I'm going to pay a modeler to actually model them. The numbers will be exactly how I want. Faces will be exactly how I want. And we'll actually get them like injection molded, so they'll be much, much more affordable. So it costs a lot of money to set all that stuff up, so I need to order a bunch of sets in order to make it cost effective. So I've been talking with a dice manufacturer already. So these are expensive because they're handcrafted. Like these are hand painted, hand molded. So like yeah, like you have to pay people for their time. But any future ones, I'm thinking about having like a cool like a box with it and like all sorts of stuff. So I'm thinking about that. No solid plans. No solid plans, but I do love me some dice, and I would love to just have like 6 of each, just in case I need to roll like 60-12. I could just roll 60-12. So, and I hate to bug people who are like just making it like in a boutique manner for like small tweaks and things. It was really a hardship for them to like make the few changes that I did ask for. So I was like, I can't keep asking them. I need to be cool with them. Gotta be cool. Okay, mystic mark. So let's gain some more mystic marks. One. Okay, so like maybe level 4, you choose 2 mystic marks. So I hate getting a new thing and like I have to pick one of these 9. Like, are you serious? I only get to pick one of these 9? That's not enough. And maybe bloom and one more mystic mark. Then 9 is another mystic mark. It's like a lot of people really like healing spells. A lot of people kind of don't. Nimble continues to expand. Yeah. Yeah, I really like how it's so big and bold. Like comparing the font size. Like this is a Chessex die. Let's go to full screen. This die is Chessex, and it would be about that big on the table. And this is like the nimble die. Like you can easily tell. And 2 versus 2, right? And this, sorry, it's backwards for me. This Chessex die I even repainted because it was like a really dull, like you could hardly even see it. It was so thin. So I added additional paint to fill it in a little bit more and make a brighter color. But this 2 is like so much more visible and easy to read across the table. Like I really like that. I really like the chunkiness of it. Yeah, like these are just like a little bit too thin and wispy for my taste. So my wife's just beginning to learn that the 7 dice sets they sell for RPGs are not, in fact, all the dice you need when she needs 66. Yeah, unless you want to be like 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I've been buying a lot of dice also. I think the D20 you can see it even more. I've been buying a lot of dice also. It's like here's a D20. Like that is what number is that? Is that a 16 or an 18 or is that a what is it? Let's go to here 16. Like isn't that like far more clear? I mean it is. It is. You don't have to say it is. And I like the matte feeling of this. So I've been buying a lot of dice. I bought like extra big dice. And I think I ordered some like extra small dice just to see what it feels like. Just to see what it feels like. To see like should we stick with a regular 16mm dice or should we tweak things a little bit? Mystery mark. Okay, familiar. So when do we get the familiar? Maybe we get a familiar at level 5. Get blood curse and familiar. That's cool. Level 13. What can we get here? Toad curse. Do we have toad curse? We have toad curse already. Do we have bloom? We have bloom. Do we have blood curse? We have blood curse. We have misery. Okay. Always have misery. So how many mystic marks do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so probably too many mystic marks. Maybe not. The itty bitty dice are so easy to lose, but delight me too much to stop buying. Yeah, yeah. Not in a bad way. Yeah. Okay, so what are some other cool things we can add? So what do these other classes have at 13? Another Sacred Grace, a secondary stat increase. 12 tier 6 spells. Do we? Are we missing another spell? I feel like there was like one more spell that we picked. Hex, Misery, Twitch Curse, Blood Curse, Frogify. Where's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one are we forgetting? Do we have Twitch Curse? Do we forget Twitch Curse? No, it's right there. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. No. Am I dumb? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Okay, so we get all of the different spells by level 8. I like that. I think that's cool. I think that's pretty cool. We get all of them by level 8. Okay, level 13. Let's take a look at other classes, see what they get at different levels. Let's go to the mage. Level 4. I don't know. I think diminution. I keep going back and forth. I just feel like level 2 might have too much stuff happening. All right, guys. I'm starting to fade, I think. I'm going to go get some breakfast and maybe continue this a little bit later. I appreciate you guys hanging out. It's been fun. Making really good progress on the Witch, I think. And we'll keep going. I think another day or two we'll have this at a good alpha state. And then we'll be able to get it ready for some playtesting. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. It's always fun hanging out with you guys and getting some cool ideas and whatnot. So, all right, I'll see you all later. See you.